Hi! How's it going, guys? It's Russell Broderick, co-host of the Apex Greatness podcast. I am actually sitting where the fairy podmother usually sits. If you ever wondered where the hell she is off camera during the show, she's in this room that I'm in now, surrounded by wood. But anyways, I'm here just to let you know, I really want to get this episode out, but it does have some audio, video inconsistencies, so it might look a little wonky, but I really wanted to get it out to you guys because I think it's one of the better episodes, especially of Hypotheticals, that we have ever done on the show. Mainly because, frankly, Dario and I don't really agree on anything when it comes to this particular episode. So, that's it. Just wanted to let you know, let you get right into it. Thank you very much for subscribing. Thank you very much for watching. And enjoy the show. So, we are looking at the 2009-2010 NBA season. We've moved past the 2000s, basically. Mainly because that's an era Shaq already dominated. We already kind of know how Shaq does in that era. So, even though Shaq's technically still in the league in 2009-2010, he's at a totally different point in his career. I'm sure we'll probably run into him later on. But you, my friend, Mr. Dario, asked me about something at the end of the choosing of Shaq's Apex season. Because this was a season you really wanted to conquer, but you asked me if we could use the 94-95 Orlando Magic, a team that I felt kind of strongly was probably Shaq's best overall team that he had played on in all of his career. Over the Lakers championship teams, Shaq might be a slightly better player during that Lakers era, but I do feel that this was the best team he ever played on from a depth standpoint and just like everything they were able to do on the court. They were first in the East with 57 wins. I'm just going to go over a couple of things. This is the first time we've really looked at this team in a while. Yeah. First in a few categories, shot 50% as a team from the field, which is fucking impressive. Comparable three-point shooting. We're going to see if it's comparable to 2009-2010 in a minute. But 37% as a team from three is not bad. And 111 points per game is first in the NBA. And their offensive rating of 115.1 also first in the NBA. This team was dead nice. Penny, Shaq, Horace Grant, Dennis Scott, Nick Anderson, who was good until the finals, and just a really deep team and a lot of good basketball minds on the team. And I'm excited to see because I really felt like they were a team ahead of their time. I'm excited to see what they look like as we dive into this year. Also, first in assists with 28 assists a game. It's fucking nasty. So, I just want to look at as a team.
So I know it's so funny. Like I did not know. I completely forgot that we talked about that because you texted to me earlier this week, and I'm like, did we want to do that? Like, why are we doing that? But I felt like I remember a conversation around that time. So
right. So the current in 2009-2010, 10.3 3-pointers is the most. So I think the Magic fall right in the middle of the pack. Yeah. What did I say? 6.7? That was the, let's see, 3-pointer, 6.4. Which is not 6.4 is right, dead center.
14, yeah.
Dead center. And I'm pretty sure attempts are going to be similar to that. When we look at points per game, they're going to be second in points per game in this era, which is pretty cool. Despite the 3-pointers, what is
Second.
their
First? They'd be first in points per game. Weren't they 111 points?
They were 110.9. Let's see. I get that real quick.
I thought, yeah, because you said 111, so I just assumed 111.
I rounded up. A wise man taught me to round up, so I rounded up.
Yeah, 110.9.
110.9 is
That's
first
first
in this
though.
league.
Yeah.
100. Would that be still?
Yeah.
Oh, no, you're right. You're right. I'm just an idiot. I'm just an idiot all the way around. It's fine. No problem.
Well, at least you rounded properly for once.
I tried. You know, I tried really.
It was like an alley-oop. Like,
no,
there have 0.9.
Dude, there have been times where it's like 110.8. He goes 110. So
really, I feel like it's usually like if
kidding?
it's 7 or less. This nigga's like, it's the bottom number. I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, you just like made it. Why is it so much more difficult for someone to get more of a point?
At some point, there will be some idiot who really has no life that will go through all of our footage and make a compilation of all my poor rounding skills.
Why would you call him an idiot? You should call him a beautiful human.
Oh, no, he's an idiot. If he's wasting his time looking through that, and why does it have to be he? It could be a she. It could be anybody. It could be anybody. And they're all stupid. Don't do that with your time. Learn a skill.
Nah, wait, time. I need that information.
Yeah, no, I need it too.
If one of y'all want to do that, that would be amazing.
Absolutely.
Because I want to use stuff against them all the time for the rest of our lives. So I gotta be able to be like, yeah, like 1,322 times, bro. You've been fucking up, like.
Look, it happens. I don't know what to tell you. It happens. It happens to me. But I want to see what's their pace, that 95 Magic team. I think it's lower, 95.1, which is 5th in their actual season. Where does that rank for here? Wow, same spot, 5th. They're going to be 5th. So they're going to be moving fast for this era too.
I think those
average pace is 92.7.
Yeah, what's the average pace in that's around this? I mean, it's similar to.
I think it's got to be similar because we're heading to that dive that comes in the late 90s. I think it's a little bit higher, but I could be wrong. Been wrong before. No, it's lower. It's got it. No, it's like exactly the same. 92.9 in 94, 95, and 92.7.
Oh my god.
So I think that's good. I think that's good for this team.
Yeah,
I think it's really good.
Yep.
Super comparable.
Yep.
And except a little bit more 3-point shooting. Offensive rating, they're going to be number 1 in offensive rating, I believe. No, they're going to be second to the run and gun Phoenix Suns by a cunt hair.
Yep.
What's their net rating? Net rating 7.3. That's going to be second. They're going to be a top 5 team in this 2009-2010 era by the numbers. What do you think is a win total for this Magic team?
How many wins did they have in 94-95?
57 and 25, and they were first in the East.
Okay.
I think the East in this particular year is more competitive than the West. That might be a hot take, but I do think it's more competitive.
It was definitely there was parity in the league at this
word
for sure. I would give them about 50 around the similar wins. Probably I'm actually going like 55 wins.
Wow. Okay, you think they get less wins? Explain.
Yeah. I think the Eastern Conference teams that they're going against, at least, 16 teams, maybe, 12, 16 to 16 teams times a year that they're going to have to face these Eastern Conference teams. I think they're way better than the Eastern Conference teams they were facing in the 90s. So, like...
Interesting.
Okay. Like the Orlando Magic, like the other Orlando Magic, I think are...
Right.
much better than a lot of teams in the 90s. And definitely those Boston Celtics are like, I think they're the best team in the East at this point. So
Even though they have 50 wins, it's really interesting.
yeah, but they also had like struggles throughout the year too. Like you gotta
Yeah.
like from the 09 season, KG had gotten injured, so he's still working himself back into playing time in the, so it's skewed. But there's a reason that this Celtics team goes to the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
Right,
Is there a way to like see like in the regular season how they did against like playoff teams?
Who?
This
The
Celtics
Magic?
team. No, this Celtics team.
This Celtics team versus
Playoff teams in the regular season. Because like the record doesn't
hmm.
look great, but they're probably like one of
Yeah.
those teams that tries hard for good teams.
Yeah, I think the injury factors too, like because we know for sure KG had I think it was like some type of knee injury or something in the 09 playoffs, and didn't Rondo also like dislocate his was it that year that Rondo dislocated his shoulder and stuff? These guys are coming off of pretty big injuries, and they're working themselves back into playing shape. So I can understand why this Celtics team is fourth in the East at this time, and plus they're getting older. So
they're also, to your point, they're just all they're getting older.
Yeah,
and that was why this big three, instead of getting a ton of shit, got a ton of praise or like hype built around them, because it seemed like they were all either at the tail end of their prime or leaving their prime when they got together.
Yeah,
and so it made, instead of it feeling like the balance of power was shifted, it was just like, oh, can these three old guys who never won actually get together and do it? It's just a different attitude about it, I think.
Yeah. I just think the level of superstardom all of them were at is the reason no one cared. Like I'm not even trying to be an asshole. Like KG was 100% looked at as elite, but
yes.
I'm not 100% sure is if in 2008, 2007, going into 2008, people were saying Paul Pierce was a top 5, top 10 player in the league.
Sure.
I'm not saying, and I definitely know they weren't saying Ray Allen was. So that's why it's the difference. It's a difference when LeBron.
I think Ray Allen was probably a top 10 two guard at minimum in the league.
No, but I'm talking about top 10. The reason
player, sure.
The reason LeBron and KD, especially KD, get shit for it. LeBron less now because what KD literally saved LeBron. He's like, LeBron's awesome. You be in front of this, like,
it's a different discussion for a different day, but I agree.
But LeBron and Wade at that time, that's like they were top 3 players in the league, in my opinion. Like you literally had Bron, Wade, Kobe, like whatever, and people were arguing in that order. You could argue Melo and stuff at that time, but like they were 100% top 3 players in the league, and you would say Chris Bosh was possibly a top 15, 20. So that's what made it like such a big deal.
Yeah, but no, I definitely think so. You have this Magic team. Third with 55 wins.
Yeah.
It's interesting because I think they have a chance to potentially get to that 60 win total. And here's my reason. Here's my reasoning for that.
Yeah.
I think they're the best duo in the league by a country mile that exists in this particular league. Penny and Shaq. And I think if Dwight Howard is the best center in this era by a lot, what the hell is this Shaq going to look like? Like, he is going to absolutely butt fuck every 7-footer that goes up against him in this particular league, which is the worst era for big men ever.
Yeah.
Ever. People, this era is why there is no center position in all-star balloting anymore. Or even All-NBA is kind of interesting. The center position's a little in flux. Like, it's because of this era where they had no talent at that center position. And so Dwight Howard was a great center, especially for the era, but I think Shaq comes in and fucking delivers the fat penis.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
Especially
there's no doubt
young
that
Shaq.
He's above. There's no doubt that he's above Dwight Howard.
Because
There's not
this
even a
is
question.
this is a Shaq who tries really hard no matter what. Like, we're not resting. We got young legs. The kid's only 22 years old. He's going ham. And
I do think
listen.
Dwight is a much better defender than Shaq, though. Even at this point in Shaq's career. In my opinion.
I don't think I just think that's a tough argument to make, because I think Dwight is known for his defense, but I definitely think Shaq, as a younger person, 2.5 blocks a game, 11.5 rebounds, and they're okay defensively. They're in the middle of the pack defensively.
Yeah.
But I definitely think when you're battling against Shaq and you're on offense and you have the ball, I don't think you're particularly calm. I think you're nervous. I think you're worried about him. I don't think you
but I'm saying like Shaq definitely on the offensive end is much better than Dwight, but I think Dwight, you can argue, is a better defender than. Well, I would say Dwight Howard is definitely a better defender than Shaq. That's like, he's not gonna. It won't be. Obviously, Shaq is gonna be the much better center, but
Right.
I don't think Dwight is looked at as like a shit center though. Like, it's
No,
because he
no.
was looked at as dominant at that time.
Yes, but do you think it would be a toss-up amongst media for Shaq and Dwight as best center in the league?
No.
Me neither. Me neither.
There's
Okay,
no way.
that's what I'm saying. I'm like,
But Shaq won't be
all the way.
I don't think Shaq's gonna guard Dwight great though. Like in the pick and roll, like Dwight is
Well,
gonna take advantage. Like,
we're in the Eastern Conference this time, my friend, so we're gonna see that matchup
100%.
in a little bit. But I have them at 60 wins mainly because I think that's good, and I think Penny is awesome in this era. Like, I think his game translates really nicely, and even the 3-point shooting, it's not a lot of 3-point shooting, but it's comparable to what some other people are doing. Not like the top echelon 3-point shooters, but we haven't left the point where people are just volume shooting from 3 yet. So I think this team, they're right in the pack and they're comparable to other people in the era. But I have them at 60 wins mainly because I have Shaq putting up more than 29 a game. I have him, even though the pace is the same, I have Shaq putting up a little bit more because of the less competition that he's going to be facing every night. I have Shaq at about 32 and 13. A little bit higher. Probably the same amount of blocks per game, maybe even a little less just because the floor is a little bit more stretched out, but I still have him at, 32, 32, 13, so probably 60% shooting, and I feel very comfortable with that. And if he's going to do that, that's a 60-win team to me.
What do you have Penny doing the same thing?
Pretty close to the same thing. It would be kind of wild for me to say that Penny was going to be like, 25 now. I don't know about that. The pace is not too drastically different. And I'm personally not one of those people to be like, Penny's going to shoot more threes in this era, obviously.
Yeah.
I think I do think he would, but I'm not willing to go on a limb and be like, he's going to average more points because of that.
Yeah. And who's to say he's going to be efficient? Yeah,
True.
You could say just because he took three threes a game, he made 35% flip.
This is how I feel about Larry Bird.
If you shoot, there's a difference. But the difference with Larry Bird is the legitimate 3-point competitions. He's making 29 out of 30.
When nobody's guarding him. You're right.
Yeah.
Listen.
I mean, that means you're consistent enough to make 29 out of 30 shots. Not a lot of people have done that.
I'm just saying, you can't tell me a guy who averaged 3 like Penny Hardaway. You can't tell me a guy who averaged 3-pointers a game is now all of a sudden going to take 10 and his volumes and his efficiency is going to stay the same. I just don't. There's no proof to that. Yeah. There just isn't.
Well, we could have a different conversation another day because that's going to go way off topic.
Specifically with Jonny Arnett, because I saw he had a video that came out recently about what JJ Redick said. And Johnny, if you're watching this podcast, fucking, I'm coming after you for those quotes. I'm excited about that.
Johnny, this is what, March 3rd, just in case
March
you're
3rd.
confused at what video, because it's gonna be like
You just
this is
put
gonna be
this
out like
video out.
a month and a half
Yeah.
later. So, like,
You just put this shit out at the
Johnny's
time.
gonna be like, what video is Russ talking about? So, yeah.
Nah, he'll see it. I commented on it and everything. I was fucking. I watched it and I was like, God damn, we gotta have a conversation. But yeah, I have Shaq's stat line at 32, 13, 60%. So let's stay at that 2.5 blocks a game. 79 games played for Shaq too. Like, he's healthy as a horse, and he is coming in to give PP. Crazy though,
So-
Penny at 51% shooting. Also,
So my thing is, so if you're giving, I just think, how many shots do you think Shaq is taking then? Because he's
what's he
shooting
got
20
right
a game
20?
right now.
20. So let me go to the stats.
I'm assuming you're almost saying like he's gonna be like his, because to put this in perspective,
I just think he's gonna make a little more. I do have his percentage up 2 points. I do think he's gonna make a little more to get that extra couple points.
Yeah,
we're only going from 29 to 32 here. Like, it's not.
But to put this into perspective, though, you're saying that Shaq's gonna average 32 points a game when he's never done that in his entire career, even his MVP season, right?
Look, we've had him averaging 35 in previous seasons with the Lakers. Like, we've done that before.
But the difference to me is, like, the reason we had him averaging 35 is because there's pace difference. There's actual statistical things that can like lead to that. In this case, it's pace for pace. Like, we're saying it's identical. And so you're saying the center position being weak is what's causing the increase, which I could see that's a good argument. But I would say in the early 2000s, the center position was also weak, and he didn't average over 30 points a game, and that was his peak.
Different guy though, and that's kind of what we're talking about here. This is not the Shaq that's like, oh, I'll wait for the playoffs. He's like I said, 79 games played. This is 28, but this is 28 and 15. That's what he's going for every night. Like, he's trying to get to 7 points a quarter. But I really do think, I think it's a drastic difference in competition. I really do. At his position.
From 95 to
2010
to the 2010, sure. But in 2000, we saw a guy that's better. That's peak Shaq. 100% 2000 Shaq is peak Shaq, and he didn't average over 30 points a game. And that year, he played 79 games. Sure. He played 37 minutes a game. That's not like he didn't try. And
but he also played 40 for Phil Jackson, though. Like, he played way more minutes for Phil Jackson. That was like the big thing that set him off. So, like, if we go here, 40 minutes a game, 39 minutes a game, that's where we saw the bigger numbers. Like, and I also think that, the system was a little different. He's taking, what do you call it?
He's still taking 20 shots a game.
21 shots, still at the 29. Like, he's going to lead 94-95 in scoring. I definitely think he does that again this year. I just think what I'm saying is not overly drastic. Like,
he won't. If he's 32 points a game, he will lead this season in scoring. But I don't think with his current score he would. I think Bron is leading, right?
KD at 30.1. Shaq would be in the top 3, but I would have Shaq leading the league in scoring. And for rebounding, he would be probably top 5 in rebounding. Blocks, top 5 in blocks. Because there's a universe where Shaq gets the MVP for me. Like, I really feel strongly about this particular Shaq dominating this year.
I understand why people would say that this is the weakest center. The point in like the center
position.
The center position. Why is the weakest point, especially from like 2005 to now, is like a drought, because Shaq was like diminishing and whatever. But my issue is center stars, but defensively, we had pretty decent centers. Perkins was a great defensive player? Yes or yes? Like with like
Kendrick Perkins? Yeah, no.
No,
I'm not even disagree with that.
We have guys that can like play defense on Shaq, or at least try to play defense on Shaq.
Okay. The second thing you said is more accurate.
Well,
I don't think they're playing anybody like Shaq right now. So there's no way to know for sure, like, what Kendrick Perkins would do against okay. Do you think Kendrick Perkins stands a chance against Giannis Antetokounmpo?
No, but that's completely.
Okay.
But Giannis does. Yes.
It's not that different.
Shaq doesn't go off the dribble like Giannis does. You crazy?
No,
like if
but-
Giannis pulls you out to the 3-point line, like, and then just runs past you, Shaq ain't doing that.
No, but he did do that a little bit in transition. Like he was doing that.
Yeah, in transition,
there's
no way I'm gonna say Kendrick Perkins could guard Shaq. But when we're talking about body to body, like that's Shaq.
This is a fast-paced team, though.
What's Kendrick Perkins' weight? See,
good question. I'll find out.
Because that Shaq is a little bit lighter on the ass. So we ain't having the same discussion as all the other Shaqs where he's just able to mollywop. I don't think that Shaq is just mollywopping Kendrick Perkins. And Kendrick Perkins is a big boy.
These are the only centers to average more than 15 points a game.
KG in the paint. Like, you're not fucking scoring that easy. Like, and then you got like against the Lakers, you're gonna have Powell and Bynum. We had like twin towers, like in a lot of these. Dwight was the only one that was they played pretty much one big, and then they try to have shooters around them. So that was a little different because the setup. But for the most part,
he had the best defensive rating by center with 95. But you got Andrew Bogut. Okay, let's go through the list. These are the best centers by defensive rating.
Yeah.
Okay. Dwight Howard, we're going to get into that. Let's leave him for a little later. Keep the suspense going. Andrew Bogut, fat dick. Shaq's destroying him. Old man Tim Duncan, fat dick. Not big enough to fuck with Shaq. Sorry.
Man,
Kendrick Perkins, I heard your take. I respect your take. I don't see a universe where he locks Shaq
what
down.
What Shaq are we talking about though? Because you sound like you're talking about 2000 Shaq, and I agree 100%.
I feel like I don't know what we're discussing because 29. This is the same stat line. This is very close to the same stat line. Look, this is the Shaq you're talking about at the end. And this is the Shaq I'm talking about at the beginning. It's the same fucking guy.
Is there a way to look up points in transition and stuff like that? Like, can we look up those stats?
Not this far back. Not this far back in history.
But I know for a fact that Shaq was getting those kind of points way more than 2000 Shaq. 2000
I
Shaq
agree,
was bullying niggas.
But that's
2000 Shaq was bullying niggas.
You don't think that's a huge advantage? Yeah, but you don't think that's a huge advantage to be 7 foot tall, fast as fuck, and destroy the rim whenever you want? Like, I think that's
it's an advantage, but think about the actual possessions. If you're thinking about 2020, that sounds amazing. But in 2010, it was possession by possession. You freaking setting up. We're not getting too many fast breaks.
But dude, we literally just looked at this pace. It's the same fucking league.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I think he's gonna do the exact same thing. You're saying he's gonna fucking somehow score 3 more points when he's never done that in his entire career.
That's not a lot of points.
Yes, that is when he's never done that in his entire career.
You're bugging, man.
Like checking the playoffs.
I don't know how you're thinking about this. Please. But I don't know how you're thinking about this now when we've gone fucking 3 decades where you could have
in his entire playoff career.
You're picking the time.
Never averaged 32. Yes, because you're comparing. Literally, now we're comparing apples to apples, and you're saying he's still gonna be like before.
But we're not comparing apples to apples. You're literally told me that this is 2 different players. We're not comparing apples to apples.
What are you talking about?
Counteracting your own argument.
Okay, can I help fix this?
Hold on, I'm saying the pace in 2010 and the pace in 1995 are identical. So that's why we
competition. Worst competition equals more points.
Not defensively.
I don't agree. I don't agree.
I disagree 100%. All you got is Hakeem and then David Robinson. Those are like the elite, like spectacular.
Patrick Ewing, David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon,
Who
Alonzo
the fuck
Mourning,
is Michael Cage? Who's Tyronn Hill? Come on,
Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe Mutombo, Sean Bradley, Vlade. These are Rick Smith, 7'4".
Vlade is a elite defender.
No, but these are all guys with lower defensive ratings.
Why'd you say his name?
Oh, you're hating now.
Yeah.
I just
Come
even
on,
okay.
man.
Take them away. I still have 5 guys here that I would
Yeah.
put over a lot of the defensive centers in the era we're talking about. Like,
Yeah.
you're battling with Kendrick Perkins over Alonzo
Bruh.
Mourning. What are we talking about right now?
Shit, hold on, time.
Yeah, you're
My
good.
camera died.
Okay, we're back. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. so you freaking
It's gonna be so funny to cut because you guys were so heated, and then I don't
Yeah, no,
it's
no.
gonna be so awkward.
yeah.
No,
Watch
no,
out,
I'm gonna leave the part in where your camera dies. I have to, otherwise this is gonna make no sense at all.
Yeah.
That's why I felt it necessary to just scream aimlessly for a second, just to make sure people knew we were on target. But no, I think the centers in the mid '90s were better defensively than the ones in 2010. You disagree, but we're gonna get into the MVP voting.
No, I'm not. I just don't think
Okay.
they're that much better to where Shaq's now gonna average 3 more points.
I just don't. I guess my perspective on it is, I don't think 3 points is that much more from a guy who's one of the 5 greatest centers of all time. Like, in an era where there is no 5 greatest centers of all time. Like, there's just no comparable competition. Like, even Dwight,
But
who's
this
a
is his
great
second
defensive
year.
center.
It's not like you're making it seem like
this is third.
it's
This is
his
third
peak.
season. It is his peak. It's a big part. Like, the guy's averaging 29-11. Like, I know he averaged 35 and 15 in the finals, but like 30, it's 29.
Bro,
That's a lot of points.
he's never averaged 32 points a game for longer than 16 straight games in his entire career. Because
I get
look
what
at
you're
his
saying.
play in the playoffs, it's under the 32 points a game. And my thing is, you're saying it in a identical pace worthy era. Like it's
Yeah.
like the same, like you're putting them in a parallel era in terms of
Yeah.
pace and style, like kind of style of play too. Like you to an extent. So
No. I agree with that. That's why I like
so
this
that's
season
why
in
I'm
particular.
saying I don't. That's why I can't 100% agree that he's gonna average 3 more points a game. Because to put it in perspective, you're saying he's averaging 250 more points just off of that alone.
Right, but okay.
In the
Here's my other thing. Okay, not a 7-footer. Dwight Howard, not a 7-footer. Bogut, yes, a 7-footer. Tim Duncan, not really. Perkins, on the cusp. I think so. I think he's a 7-footer. Pau Gasol, yes, he's 7 feet. Does he have the speed and quickness to match up defensively? That's debatable. Al Horford, 6'10". Roy Hibbert, 7'2". So, like, he would be. I just think that there's less huge humans, which goes into why there was such a drought at this point. Anyways, like, a lot of these guys I just named are career power forwards. Pau Gasol, Tim Duncan, Al Horford. That doesn't exist in the 90s. It just doesn't. And I think that helps Shaq to get 3 points and 2% better from the field. Like, I don't even think he's going to shoot that much more. I just think he's going to be it's going to be easier for him to get buckets against crummier competition. But I respect what you're saying about defensively, because there were the guys that are here in this era are definitely known more for their defense than their offense. That's just undeniable. Yeah. There are no fucking centers averaging 20 points a game. Chris Bosh is not a center, and neither is David Lee. I don't want to hear that shit. Fucking Brook Lopez. Whenever I see Brook Lopez in this era, I just think of Shaq going, Brook Lopez, the best center in the league. Are we talking true centers? Are we talking true big men? Or are we talking that pick and pop style? He's such a little bitch.
That's gonna be terrorizing Shaq too. He's gonna be
the ironic part for me is if this Magic Shaq played pick and roll style, that's even better for him, I think.
Yeah.
Considering his agility, his quickness at this point, I think that's even better for him. Yeah. I think he should shut up and start doing some of that in this era if we were going to change his style. Yeah. But taking it for what it is, I definitely do believe that. So looking at MVP, I'll go first. With 60 wins and the stat line that I have, I believe that's enough to take LeBron here. I really do. I think if not, he's definitely getting a bunch of first place votes, and it's a bigger split, in my opinion, because LeBron is playing really well. This is one of his best seasons, definitely his best season in that first Cleveland run, in my opinion. 37 and 8.5, shooting 50% from the field, and
You think
basically having
this one is his
nobody.
best season?
From the first Cleveland run, yeah.
Oh yeah, I think it's this. I think it's the season before.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
definitely fair.
67. I think it was 67, 66 wins, something like that.
Yeah,
And
yes.
And like it was, to me, it was like he had to beat out Kobe for MVP, and it was strictly
Yes.
because he won 66 games and Kobe won 65. I think that was like the reason, in my opinion. But
Yeah, how close was that voting? Not very close
wasn't
at all.
close at all. Like,
Not very close at all.
like, but it's like to me, it's what this is not a Kobe thing. Keep on. Next thing. Because that's what I was gonna say. I'm like, in my mind, this year, this is
It's
when
like
Kobe
this, son. Like this.
Well, in reality, this is the year Kobe has seven game winners.
This is 2009, 2010,
yeah,
right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good
And
year
I'm
for
like,
Kobe.
and
I
look,
agree.
he got fucking 0 first place votes somehow.
Sure.
That's crazy to me.
Sure.
But whatever. I just think they were cocky than LeBron at this time. But
That's fair.
It's for a reason, right? Because this Cleveland team is pure dog shit. Like, legitimately, the very next year when he leaves to the Miami Heat, they become the worst team in the league. That's how much he mattered. They went from having 2 straight back-to-back 60-win seasons to then the very next year. This is the one thing, like, I hated LeBron, but you gotta speak the facts. The very next year, Cleveland becomes
their record flipped completely. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not disagreeing there at all.
15.
I'm not going to disagree
there.
They
went from first in the past 2. They literally averaged 64 wins a game in those last 2 seasons, and fucking
wins per season. I got you.
So to me, LeBron James is still staying MVP. But that's also because I have Shaq averaging similar stats to what he already had. So that's why. Like, I could see why you would say Shaq for you.
I just think it's an argument. I think it's an argument in that situation.
Especially if Penny's still giving you 21 points a game.
Yeah,
LeBron doesn't have a second guy.
You're right. You're right. You're right.
And 21 points in that era matters. Like 21 points. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's look at that. How many guys were actually averaging more than that?
Look at that. Yep.
So
that's a tough.
And I've talked about this before. 16 fucking guys are averaging over 20 with no rounding. 16 guys. That's it. For comparison, I'm pretty sure this season it's like 40 guys. Like, it's insane. Let's see. This year
in 95?
No, and this year what we're running through right now in 22-23. Just for some perspective of how little that is.
Yeah, this is insane.
There are 42 guys.
Yeah.
So more than double what it was in 2009, 2010. Like, I say what you want, and this era was the era that you and I grew up in. Like, we were really young when, the Shaq and Kobe era, we were single digits. This is the era you and I really got to get into the game. The stars were the stars, but I mean, I've said this before. I really do feel like we're going to look back at this era not very long from now and go, this era sucked. This era was fucking boring. There were not a lot of superstars. The league was kind of lame. The shooting didn't start popping off yet. I don't know. Carmelo Anthony is a superstar. Lame.
I disagree with that. I think there was a lot of parity in the era from 08 to like 2012 probably. Yeah. There was, to me, that was like the where the era like peaked a little bit, and then it's just it literally was like from 2005 it starts dropping, and then you get a little spike in 8 to 12, and then it just drops again. That's when the fucking Pacers are in the Eastern Conference fucking finals. Like, it was shit for those next 3 years. Is pretty shit, or 2 years, whatever. It was shit. So that I disagree because I think there was parity in the league, and you
Yeah.
legitimately did not know who was going to win the championship that year.
I'll say
a Kobe
this.
fan, but
Yeah.
I was not thinking. That was me being ignorant. Like me looking at it right now, anybody could have fucking won the championship those years.
Here's what I will say. I definitely think this era is more, and this is gonna sound weird, but more storyline driven than actual product on the floor driven. The storylines in this era are sick. They're so good. From the big three Celtics time up until LeBron going back to Cleveland.
Yeah.
The storylines every year, fire.
But it was
so
the
fire.
Same thing in the 90s. It was like they just try to mimic it or something.
But like it was so Jordan centric in the 90s as opposed to this era where it's like the baby Thunder, right? You got can LeBron finally get a championship for the city of Cleveland? You know, you got Kobe. Can he have a repeat? Can he finally vanquish those Celtics? That, you know what I mean? You got obviously the big three in Boston. There's so many cool. The Phoenix Suns. Can Amari and Steve Nash finally put it together? I just think the storylines here are like, I don't know, kind of underrated when looking back. I think that's what carried this. And then when LeBron goes to Miami, it's a storyline driven league.
The villain.
Like,
He's the villain.
It's pro wrestling at its finest.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. But no, I have Shaq. So wait, so if you don't have Shaq winning MVP, where do you have him? Do you have him first, second, third? What do you have?
So if this was like my real how I felt that year plus Shaq, it would be LeBron. No, well,
go ahead.
It would really
I know it's coming.
It would be Kobe. Right? Kobe, 7 game winners. My man, they literally have a Kobe Kobe doing work, like a whole thing, like a compilation of the dick he was given in 2010. Stop playing, freaking little whatever. But Kobe first.
Mm-hmm.
It would be LeBron, and then Shaq.
Okay,
KD, I don't even remember KD. Like in this, like I remember we beat him in the first round. But it was not like I didn't think he was MVP worthy. But that was just.
I think this was the year that he started the season.
He just peaked, or finally they took that.
This is up until Shai Gilgeous-Alexander finishes 22-23 season. This is the only guy to put up at least 10 free throws a game and shoot 90%. It's the only guy to do that. It's a fun fact. But yeah, I there's no way I have Shaq, with the way I'm looking at it, as anything less than second. And it's only because his team's really good. Yeah. Another guy getting punished for him having a good team. I think that's wild. But I can't disagree. LeBron was doing savage shit with that Cavs team that was just white dog shit.
And I'm just not about to say that he's gonna have a better record than that team. Like just off he had 57. And this is it's not like it's a shit Eastern Conference. Like usually,
I think it's more competitive in the West this year. But I think in the moment we were talking about the West being way more competitive. But I think in hindsight, I think the East is 4 or 5 teams deep of legitimate contenders.
Yeah, I mean, you always had that in the West. There was definitely Phoenix wasn't shitty. You had the Mavs. I never thought they were really competitive, even though
me neither.
I had the Lakers, and then the Spurs are always just a team that you're going to be looking at, stuff like that. But
Darren Williams sighting. I forgot he was relevant.
Shaq is 100% first team.
So that's my next question. I feel like it's unquestionable, even with the stat line he has without changing anything. The 29-11 and 57 wins definitely puts him first team center. He's playing more minutes than Dwight. The only thing he's not doing is he's rebounding a little less and he's shooting a little worse, but he's scoring way more. So I would give Shaq guarantee first team center. Lindsay, what do you think for MVP? Who do you have? What do you like?
I feel like the LeBron argument is hard to go against.
Sure.
But I mean, so I wanted to mention if you guys just like moved all the way forward, but when Dario was on his like Kobe shit earlier, I was looking at Kobe.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. I was looking at Kobe versus Durant, and I was like, well, Durant only got 4 first place points, and like arguably statistically, he was better than Kobe this year.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So
But can I do this one for you?
Because he's
Can
like,
I do this
he's
one for you?
scoring more points
Oh, yeah,
more efficiently, right?
Yeah, can I do? I'm gonna do this one for Dario.
Yeah,
I'm
gonna leave it to Russell.
to
You
me.
know, I'm not.
I got
Please
you on
give
this
it
one.
to me because I don't get it.
Yeah.
First in the West, which
fine.
which by and large was seen as the more difficult conference.
Mm-hmm.
Do I necessarily agree with that? As I said, no, but that's the way it was. People sucked the West dick back in the day. That's number one. Number two, as Dario says every single time, 7 game winners, 7 of them,
Mm-hmm.
siete, while having really, I don't know, the triangle helped a lot, but Pau Gasol was definitely better than anybody LeBron had. But it's the Kobe show. This is his team. This team holds his identity.
Sure.
And 27-5-5 is hard. It's a short list of guys that have actually scored 27-5-5.
Yeah. What did Russell Westbrook do?
Yeah, like can we pull up the Thunder
this year?
Yeah. What did Russell Westbrook do? I'm just curious. I like can't remember at all.
I actually can't remember. I know you're being sarcastic, but I can't remember.
I mean,
see, but like the amount of team
dog
input
shit.
is, yeah.
Not the same guy.
Oh,
My
okay. I
point
was
is,
thinking he was
like,
the 20
team-
point a year. Then that's 2 years from now. I remember.
To me, this looks like the KD show.
It's definitely the KD show, which is why he ended up getting second from the media.
Yeah.
But wow, Russ takes a huge step up in the playoffs. It's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder when that happens for him. You guys keep talking. I'm diving into something random.
Who's guarding him? Derek Fisher, a guy that can't guard him. Like that was like that was an issue. Guards always killed the Lakers in the playoffs. So that's why we faced them in the playoffs. That's why this is the reason that like really should break it down for you. Like when we faced each other in the playoffs, it was a decent series, but we beat them, right? And Kobe was Kobe.
I mean,
yeah, I agree.
No,
and that offense ran strictly through Kobe. Like if Kobe had a bad night, a lot of the times we're not winning those games. It was
definitely the same could be said for Durant, though. Definitely this year, definitely the same thing could be said for Durant. I think they're actually. I agree with Lindsay.
But the thing is, they lost more games. Like
they're only back by 7 games. Only 7 games separate their record.
That's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games.
That's a lot of games.
No, I'm not saying I'm not I get that that's a lot of games. I'm speaking about standings or whatever, but I'm just saying like it's not like this huge disparity.
It's a huge disparity. Look at the screen. It's a huge disparity.
It's first and 8th.
Look at it like that. It's a little different.
Bro, Durant was the 8th seed. Durant was the 8th seed. What are we talking about here right now?
I think the 7th seed. Let me double check.
No, Lakers were the 1st seed. They had to be the 8th seed. It was 1 and 8.
They were the 8th
seed. Yeah. Like, what are we talking about here? That's crazy. Yeah. Like, Kobe 100% should have been second in MVPs. That's crazy.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like, I always say Kobe was second in MVP. And when I look back at this bullshit, I'm like, what the fuck did Durant really do?
Yeah. I don't know.
Look at, but I think they're in a similar position. To put that in perspective, Russ, look at the West. Everybody has 50 wins. In the West is that's why it's more competitive. The West literally from top to bottom had 50 wins.
The Spurs had the tiebreaker. That's why they were the 8th seed.
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
Yeah.
What do you call it? I would have Shaq over Kobe I would have my Shaq over Kobe. But I agree that he would still get first place votes, even in my scenario. I don't understand how he didn't get 0 first. It does feel when you look at it like this, it feels like disrespect.
Yeah,
it feels like disrespect.
Yeah.
But when you look at it like this,
yeah,
it's just hard.
It's worse. It just gets worse because I was like,
it's a lot of games.
Yeah, because honestly, I don't know why I didn't mention that to begin with because I knew that Kobe faced Durant in that first round. And it should have just clicked in my head. The Lakers were the 1 seed. Like they had to be the 8th seed.
Yeah.
That's exactly so
that didn't click.
But okay. speaking of 1 seeds and 8 seeds, let's look at the playoffs. Friendly reminder, we've done the West every single time so far. We are in the East with this Orlando Magic team, right? So we got 3, I think, perfect teams to go against.
Yeah, we're going against the gauntlet, man.
Yes. There is really the big 3.
Yep.
We got Boston, we got Orlando, and we got the Cavs.
Yeah.
Who's going first? Yes, I did
Orlando.
stretch my words. I did stretch my words because I forgot.
Can we do Orlando first?
I would rather.
I was thinking the Cavs first.
Really?
Yeah, the Cavs were the worst
Yeah.
team out of the 3, in my opinion.
Not from a wins perspective, but I definitely
From a-
think.
In terms of
We're
like a
gonna-
staffing perspective?
Yeah, but
The
you
last
know-
2 years, to put it into perspective even more, the last 2 years, the Cavs lost to both Boston and Orlando back-to-back years.
all right. I think that's a good case. Let's do Cleveland. So diving a little bit deeper on this team, right? Obviously, we said 61 wins. They made it to. How
They
far
made
did they
it
make
to one Eastern Conference championship,
The semis.
a finals, and
Yeah.
a semifinals.
But they made it
That's
to the
like a-
semifinals this year. This is the Delonte West
Oh yeah.
season.
Delonte
Uh,
West was.
please
was
look it up in the
westing all up in
archives.
the East, man.
One
He
of
was
our
all up. Yeah. He went west
was
to
the-
east, and somehow
yeah.
Braun got created.
he went west to east, 6 to 9,
Yeah.
the whole
My
9
man was
yards
like, yeah.
with LeBron's mom.
That nigga was like, he was like a nor'eastern. Like he was like a storm all up in mama and LeBron mama's Gucci, nigga. Man, stop playing.
We can never get past this season without saying something incredibly disparaging about that situation. Anyways, so yeah, this is hashtag
We never
Delonte
be, bro.
James.
He'll kill us. I think
Dude,
we'll be the first
even-
people that LeBron will actually catch a case on.
Yeah, I don't even have to say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. In my notes, I wrote Delonte James be fucking LeBron's mom in the ass. That's what I decided to write. And I put in the ass in all bold, just to be sure. Why I did that? I don't know. Why I just told you about it? I just don't know that either. But obviously led by LeBron, this is his second MVP. Again, in my notes, I wrote, led by LeBron and a raggedy group of bitches. That's what I decided to write.
I do have one question for you though.
I'm listening.
Oh, and Shaq gets to go against Shaq. That's awesome.
Yes.
I do have one quick question. How much is LeBron gonna fondle Shaq's little sidekick there?
Penny Hardaway?
Yeah. He's how
I
bad
think
is
it might bring. I think it. Do you think they guard each other?
I think LeBron would guard him at key points.
Yeah.
And the
I
reason
agree.
I say that is because we know literally the very next year he guards Derrick Rose.
Yeah. True.
So I think he would.
But
take Penny.
Penny was not a slouch defensively. Penny was pretty
Yeah.
nice.
I know,
But I do think LeBron's definitely bigger than him.
Yeah.
And he's in
LeBron's
full
gonna
attack
eat him
mode.
up. Yeah,
In
100%.
full attack mode this year.
Especially this is a young Penny too. Like I mean, sure, like this is a young Braun,
Well,
but he's been
All
this is
NBA
his
first
7
team for
feet, 6
Penny.
year- Yeah,
All NBA first team for Penny. Super athlete, a great passer. And like I said, solid defender.
Yeah.
Could step outside, hit the 3. I think he probably gets what he got here. Like I think 21-7 is probably realistic, but not on 51% shooting. I think it's a little bit lower, probably like 48.
yeah,
Um,
I agree.
but Shaq is getting 30, at least 30, in my opinion.
Yeah, Shaq is.
In this situation. I think he's getting 30. And this is what I mean by when motivated by himself,
yeah,
probably motivated to show his old self. Because they're going to both, I think the old Shaq's probably going to have a game where he gets a couple dunks, puts him down low in the post. It's
Yeah.
weird. We really haven't had a moment like this where in
Here
this
you go, big fella.
hypothetical series, we really haven't had the player go against himself. That hasn't
Yeah.
really happened yet. This is really the first time, a watershed moment in Apex greatness history. But I think that 37-year-old Shaq definitely looks at 22-year-old Shaq and goes, "Hey, young fella, watch
No,
this.
we
Throw
have
the
had
ball,
that. I think we have
dunk."
the Kobe versus Kobe.
Did we?
Yeah, pretty sure.
I don't remember. I have the Magic in 6 games. I think it goes 6. I think LeBron averages 30, but Shaq averages 30. They kind of cancel each other out.
Mhm.
And I'll take the others on Orlando over the others. Like Nick Anderson, Dennis Scott both hitting over 2 threes a game is huge.
Yeah.
Like bring that into playoffs.
How did that
Doing
Cleveland
in the
team
playoffs.
shoot in the like how was their 3-point shooting?
Good question.
Probably
So
trash.
their pace was way slower. Their 3-point shooting 7.3. They're shooting 38% as a team. 7-19. It's
Okay, so they
comparable.
shot.
It's
Yeah,
a
they're
little
the
bit
same.
more, but
Pretty
it's
much the
comparable.
same. Yeah,
But their pace is rock bottom.
yeah,
Like Magic are going to be
yeah.
running in
Like
comparison.
pretty much that LeBron run was them trying to put defense up around LeBron and have him like
Yes.
kind of similar to like what they did with Jordan in the '90s, but with trash
Yes.
teammates.
Yes.
Um,
Yes. They
agree-
could not
I agree.
ever get a Scotty for him. Ever.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Orlando. I think I have Orlando winning, and I have them winning in 5. I don't think.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think LeBron is that. If this was like later on, LeBron, as we're gonna see later, in another hypothetical, but he doesn't control the pace. He's not the same. He's not that guy yet, right? So
Sure.
I don't think, and I think just this team is just way better. Like I think this Orlando team is way better than the Cleveland team, especially in a playoff series.
Yeah, I just think it would come. The only thing I'm gonna say for Cleveland and why I think it goes 6 is I think LeBron. I don't think they have an answer for him. Like
Yeah.
I think that's because of his
Oh.
size and like because I don't think like there's going to be a couple of series as we go forward where I think Penny Hardaway is going to make a big difference defensively in that backcourt against some of the guys.
Yeah.
But I don't think so against LeBron. I think that's a fucking food. I think
Yeah.
that's food, and but fortunately they're going to have Shaq putting up 30. And what's this team doing in terms of team rebounding? So they're tops
11.
in defensive rebounding, but they're one of the worst in offensive rebounding. So Shaq's definitely going to be, and he equals out to be about middle of the pack, just out of the top 10.
Yeah.
I have, looking at the Magic for their era, they're one of the top 5 rebounding teams in the league. It's 44 to 42. So like, they're definitely the better rebounding team.
Yeah.
I like that. And if you're going to tell me that that's how it's going to be, second chance points, maybe you're right in 5, but I'm going to stick with 6.
I mean,
Lindsay, what do you
it
think?
could go. I'm not mad at 6 either. I just don't. I think the Magic are just a better team for sure.
Agreed. You could see 5.
Yeah, I could see.
You guys have no respect for LeBron, no respect for the king.
Not this LeBron.
No,
I didn't have respect for you back then either. I'm being consistent, ho.
I could see him like winning one game purely just by being him, but
yeah,
sure.
I just think the team's outclassed.
Yeah, I always give the superstar at least one game, usually for the most part, or all-time great one game.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I think
I don't
their
think
numbers
it's sweep level though. I think it's definitely
no,
like
I don't
more
think
like
so either.
5 or 6.
Because the Magic team's still pretty young, obviously.
Yep.
And
before this, they had only before that '95 season, they had only lost in the first round every single year that Shaq's been there.
True. Exactly. Yes. Good point. Yeah. The Shaq's playoff resume to this point was pretty bad.
If you guys want to learn a little bit
more
about that,
continue to be bad.
Yeah. If you guys want to learn a little bit more about that, check in our archives. We got you.
Facts. Beat me to it.
Yeah.
All right. We're gonna do Boston next, or do you want to do Boston in the finals?
I think Boston should be the last. I mean, they went to the finals, so I think they.
You're right.
Respect, you know.
So we have the Battle of Disney World.
Yeah.
This Orlando Magic team super underrated, I think. I just think last year's team was better.
so
Mhm.
that's why it kind of
They did make the finals,
Yeah.
obviously.
yeah.
Now we can
And they
take time to
also
talk about
shot
Dwight Howard.
lights out.
Yeah. Well, that's true. But even now,
Yeah.
best 3-point shooting team in the league
Yeah, no, I know, but
by a lot.
But in that finals round, because naturally, I don't think that Orlando team would have been better than Cleveland. Like, well, not that much better than Cleveland, and they damn near swept them. And
Right.
it was mainly because all of their shooters were shooting like lights out. Like it was just like
Right.
that whole run, they were just hot as hell, and they got hot at the right time, in my opinion.
How far they made
I
it to
think
the
they were-
conference finals? Yes, they made it to the conference finals this year.
Yeah, yep.
I wonder where they ranked
They got
because
swept.
they gotta still be shooting the ball, right? Yeah, they're still shooting the crap out of the ball.
Yeah. I'm just saying that I think the peak of that team was the previous year.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree, but I'm also not going to tell you that this team isn't a threat because they are.
Yeah,
They're
no, I
definitely
do.
a threat.
I agree.
They added Vince Carter this year, an older Vince Carter, 33 years old, but he still had some magical plays that he did, and he helped. I think he helped Orlando. I think he did make them a little bit more dynamic.
Yeah,
But yeah, this team is
I think
about
not having Turkoglu. It was the big.
Yeah, I agree.
Flaw. Yeah, because he was their playmaker pretty much.
On steroids.
In my opinion, at that time, he was a better playmaker than Vince Carter for sure.
Yeah. And probably a little bit better of a 3-point shooter too. Vince Carter still shot the 3, but that was kind of what Turkoglu was on the floor to do, to your point, to make plays and shoot the ball. But now we can talk about Dwight Howard because I kind of avoided talking about him up until this point because I really wanted to dive deep here because that's going to be the matchup here. It's going to be Dwight versus Shaq. Peak Dwight against I mean, you can't say this was peak Shaq, but like
baby
this
Shaq. I would say it was more
this
baby
Shaq
Shaq than peak.
is still awesome.
Yeah.
Like to say that this would be a lot of people's absolute peak would be what this Shaq is capable of.
Yeah, like to put this in perspective, we don't think this is Shaq's peak, and Dwight Howard has done nothing close to what that Shaq did.
Yeah. Exactly. Very true. Great
Dwight
point.
Howard's best year is 22-14 Defensive Player of the Year, NBA Finals, I think, right? And
this is his second Defensive Player of the Year in 2010.
Yeah, and Shaq in this year went 29, 12, and went to the NBA Finals in this third year in the league. So it's like,
yeah, Dwight would be a little bit older than Shaq in this scenario, which I think is kind of interesting. 24 to 22. Shaq's so young. He's so fucking young. It's crazy. But what do you call it? Yeah, he's the youngest fucking guy on the team. It's insane. To me, that's insane. But yeah, I think it's a really interesting battle. And I also think this could potentially be a stat line for Shaq that happens with Dwight on the assignment. I think 26, 12, and I think maybe the blocks would go up a little bit because Dwight's going to have the ball a little more, and obviously Shaq's way bigger. Yeah. But I'm going to give Dwight the respect of knocking Shaq from 29 to 26. The same way I thought in general he would gain 3 points.
In your case, you're saying from 32 to 26.
Well, this is what I'm saying. In the regular season, where I felt like he would go up 3 points to 32 against the general competition, I think he'll go down 3 points against specifically Dwight Howard in a series. But that's okay because they got a lot of different people who can make shots. And I think this is a big penny series because the one thing they don't have is anybody to guard anybody on the perimeter.
Yeah.
And
because now you have JJ Redick and Jameer Nelson. Like they're good, really good shooters. Jameer Nelson was a really good ball handler, like playmaker. But he was small. They're both small, and Penny's definitely going to take advantage of that.
Yes.
Nobody thinks that Matt Barnes is going to be able to guard anybody.
Oh, no, fuck Matt Barnes.
I disagree with that. I think Matt Barnes definitely can guard Penny Hardaway.
I don't think so.
What?
don't
He
think
played
so.
great defense on Kobe. Like,
I don't care.
and
I knew you were going to say that.
Michael Pietrus was a really good defender at that point too. Like, a lot of people made it a thing because Kobe like destroyed him in the NBA Finals, but that doesn't. All right.
So what is Matt Barnes doing?
Wait, scroll down more towards when Matt Barnes was like actually more. All right, look at those.
All right, hold on. Oh, look. Okay, you know what? You're right, Dario.
Oh,
I know
Michael
you saw
Pietrus. All right, wait.
Barnes?
I can't spell this guy's name right.
Oh, I thought you would. Wait, is that Michael Pietrus?
No, this is Matt Barnes. So he had one game where he did pretty well,
21%.
and then he had one game where he got angry about having a bad game. Completely annihilated him.
But
That's definitely what happened. You know it, and I know it.
Bro, but he averaged 33% shooting. That matters.
Yeah.
That matters.
Yeah.
And Kobe's by far a way better offensive player than Penny Hardaway at this point. Kobe's literally this is literally the year after peak Kobe, in my opinion.
I'm not disagreeing, but I do think the one thing I do notice here is a lot of passing. I think Penny could definitely get to like 18 and 10 against this team, especially if these guys are shooting threes to keep up. Because they do shoot enough threes for me to turn around and say realistically, if the other team was shooting threes, I think they would shoot more to compete. Yeah. Like I could see that. I don't think that's unrealistic for me to say. And if these guys if the Dennis Scotts of the world,
Kobe did, because Kobe averaged 4 threes a game.
Look,
4 or 5. Yeah,
40% from three. This is the playoffs. 4.7.
Yeah,
this is if he does that, I don't know how he's only averaging under 20 points from a stat, or without rounding. I'm surprised he's averaging less points. He's shooting a little bit less from the field as a whole, but I think he can definitely average like 18 and 10 if the other guys are going to be shooting more threes.
And not for nothing, and I know that because we talked about the defensive era in the 90s for the bigs, which I and by no way I'm saying that the late 2000s was better than the 90s. I was just saying it's not that far of a drop off. And but perimeter defense is much better in the early in that 2000s era. And I think
you think so?
Yeah. Who tell me so besides, because we got Scotty and Jordan. So those are the two
Gary Payton.
Yep.
Only guard to win Defensive Player of the Year to that point.
Yep.
Penny's obviously in that conversation. A really good defender in his own right.
Yeah. I just think it's the others. Like the others don't like you in the at least in the 2000s. You got. I think Kobe was a good defender when obviously more so when he had to in playoffs he did. You had and you're naming obviously the superstars, right?
Well, this is what I'm saying. This is why I needed to look up the list. Yeah. Mookie Blaylock, known for getting a lot of steals, solid defender. Short guy, but solid defender. Did his homework a lot. John Stockton, obviously, great defender for the point guard position. If we're talking strictly two guard, I think you're right. I think that list is a little bit shorter. But this is why Penny was able to have so much success. All these guys I'm naming are short as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah.
All these guys are so small.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Literally none of them are even close to 6'7". Gary Payton's the closest at 6'4", but like that's the tallest guy I'm going to see. Even Reggie is not a defender. I would not call Reggie Miller a defender, and he's on this list. So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
And if we're
and then if we look at the 2010, it's probably
we got Wade. Wade's definitely nice. Rondo, really good. Another two small guys. We're not really getting out of the small conversation with the guards.
See, like this is
Manu, I would not consider a good defender.
Yeah.
Steven Jackson was pretty good.
I wouldn't say Manu was bad.
I would not go Ginobili. Cuff him.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's like a locker, but But Cephalosha, those are the type of guys I'm talking
Thabo,
about. Like
yeah.
those extra, like you literally had like almost specialty guys. Like they
You
were
did.
there to defend. Like I
You
don't
did.
feel like guard wise in the 90s
Shane
you didn't really
Battier.
have that as much. That Utah Byron, well, the dude that was supposed to be guarding Jordan in the finals, like he was
Byron
supposed to be
Scott?
their special. No, I'm talking about in Utah. I can't remember his name.
Byron
That he hit
Russell.
Yeah, Byron Russell. Yeah. Like he was supposed to be their specialty defender, right? Like that dude is not Cephalosha. Like Cephalosha was a lockdown defender. Like
Yeah, but I'll raise your Cephalosha by bringing
I'm
up
just
this name.
no, but I'm saying like
Blaylock.
it's the
Guy would call his own steal. It's badass.
Yeah. I'm
He's
just saying like those. I feel like those other dudes, like you have more of those like nobody names or
Okay.
guys.
I'm not
just
going to
there for
disagree, but
defense.
here's what I'll say for my defense of the 90s. And I feel like this is a hard argument to make, but it's got to be said. The biggest difference between 1995 and 2010 in terms of what we're talking about here with defense are the rules. Hand checking is alive and well in 95, and it's not at all in 2010. That's what, and I think Penny playing in that more open style where he can't get touched in a similar way definitely helps him. Like there's no way it doesn't.
But it wasn't.
And that's why I think he's able to get sick passes. And well, we're 4 years, we're 4 or 5 years into it now.
Yeah,
we're 4 or 5 years into it now.
So what?
Into no hand checking rules and stuff like that. Like we're pretty.
I feel that, but there's no way you look, bro. That Lakers Celtics series, like those.
Oh no.
Like,
I'm not going to disagree. When we're talking NBA Finals and playoff basketball is a little bit more physical.
And that's
but to say it's more physical,
here, right?
yes. But to say it's more physical than the mid '90s is just an argument that's tough. I think
it was comparable to the '90s for sure.
Okay.
We've had that conversation before. You've said actually the 2010 finals was the last era of the big men, but also
the last traditional. Yeah, two traditionally made teams went against each other in the finals, and I feel like that's the last time that happened.
Game 7, bro. That shit was it was just they were fighting, bro. Like that was like they weren't calling shit. They were just letting them go. They were like, y'all gonna have to figure that out who wins the game. Like
it was a very rough and rugged game.
Yeah, but the refs let them play. They said that's gonna be that type of game.
But from a perimeter standpoint, a rule like hand checking does make a big difference for a guy like Penny Hardaway. Like it definitely does. To say that it doesn't is tough for me.
I agree. But
and also from Shaq's standpoint, the zone, right?
Yeah,
got to worry about that. Shaq fucking hated the zone. So, just stuff to think about on both sides of how the game changes with the rules. We haven't really talked about that too much this year, but I do think it's because we jumped so far forward.
Yeah.
Because the last fucking team we took, and there's a big gap in the rules from 15 years apart. They're just on. And I think that's important when I'm trying to tell you that Penny's getting 18 and 10 at least. Like, I think that free space allows him to pass the ball.
18 and 10, I'm fine. But I do believe that he's not shooting as well. As
interesting. I just don't know who you got on. You think Matt Barnes is just on him assignment the whole time? I think
I think they have a rotating cast. Like I think Matt Barnes could guard him. I think Beatrice could guard him. I think Vince Carter wasn't a horrible defender. Like you have guys to throw at him.
33-year-old Vince Carter was a horrible defender. I'll say that. Kobe was fucking him up.
Yeah, of course.
Fucking him up.
Come on, man. Come on.
I don't think Penny. I think Penny dogs him.
Penny's not Kobe though. That's like let's not put them in the same breath. Like
he was dead nice, man. He was dead nice.
But
he
not
was just
this Kobe, bro.
He was just not as selfish. Yeah, this Kobe is definitely way more skilled. He's had way more time in the league.
Yeah.
And he's 23 years old. I'm not disagreeing with that, but I think what gets lost in translation is how good this fucking guy Penny Hardaway was. I think, how ahead of his time.
For sure. Like I don't think
I said it in 95. I think the stats almost don't do him justice to what his actual play was. Like the guy played a 2010 style in 95, doing crazy athletic shit, hitting threes, playing that two guard style just with a little bit more unselfish play, like a little bit more free with the passing and a little bit different moving up and down in transition because this league was obviously a little slower. But I think Penny Hardaway makes a real big difference in this series. I think these role players are a little bit better than the 2010 Magic role players, and I have the 95 Magic in 7 this time because I do think that
it's a fight. That I
yes,
had that. Yeah,
it's a fight, and the 3-pointers make a difference.
I 100% agree with you. That's exactly what I had. It depends on like what Shaq you get. Like if you get Shaq, like cause was Shaq Superman by 95?
I don't know if he had it on his tattooed on him yet, but he was playing like Superman. The guy's again 29 and 11. We cannot sleep on that.
That he gets the Superman tag. But
Moniker,
one thing that I know 100%, if Shaq hearing Dwight Howard call himself Superman when he thinks in his mind he is
properly
1,000
motivated
times better than this dude. That's where I think the 6 games could come into play because I think
you know what? We spent the whole legacy breakdown season that we did on Shaq on this year, basically chronicling Dwight versus Shaq, and 37-year-old Shaq gave Dwight Howard the cock. He did. He he locked him up several times.
Yeah.
And Shaq had some of his biggest games. If you give Shaq all his powers physically, it's tough to argue what you're saying right now. And 6 seems more realistic.
Yeah.
If he's going to get up to that 29, it's way more realistic.
Because I do think that this, because...
And he's so much bigger than Dwight. I'm sorry.
Because of what you just also said an hour ago, right? Where you said, just because you can shoot threes doesn't mean that if you shoot more, you'll be more efficient. I know that this Orlando Magic is a better 3-point shooter than the 95 Magic. What happened? 1995. That's perfect.
There you go. It is perfect.
You're welcome. I answered your question, boys.
But it might, but it might have been after he went to the finals because I feel like that would have made more sense for him to get it like after.
Yeah, maybe, but it's close. Yeah. We're in the right period of time.
Yeah. No, and so.
But you were saying 3-point shooting.
Yeah, I think the 3-point shooting can be. I think. Especially when that 2010 Magic team, when they got hot, like they could make it rain on you. So like, it definitely it varies, but I'm leaning definitely more towards the 7 games with the 95 Orlando Magic.
I think the 95 Magic win regardless of the 3-point shooting because they shoot enough threes to make it a contest.
Yep.
Like. And I think that does make a difference here. Whereas if we took
one of
the
80s, those threes don't matter as much.
No. It's about being rough and rugged, and that's what a guy like Shaq would live for in those situations.
Yeah.
And I think Penny would be big because I think Penny, as a second guy, no matter what, is better than any guy. I think the 2 best players on the floor are Shaq and Penny, in every game, no matter what, in the series. I don't think Dwight is the second best guy. I think Penny is better than Dwight, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I think Penny's I think that would make a difference in a game 7.
Yeah.
Especially because they don't have that. Like, that's what Vince Carter's brought in for. But at 15 points a game, he's not creating as many of his own shots as he needs to outweigh a guy like Penny, who's going to be creating his own shot, hitting threes, dunking it, slashing and kicking, getting it to Shaq, who's definitely going to take a game 7 personally. Like, I think that's.
But I don't know. I'm shocked that you're going more Vince because Jameer Nelson was their guy. Like
I think he's more of a catch and shoot. Like he facilitates better. But I'm not calling him he'll crush you up. He'll get to the layup line. He's not like a this is a weird comparison because they're not in the same stratosphere. But he's not like a Steph where like he's gonna be off dribble creating shots from 3 and like shit like that.
Yeah, he's not gonna be like he's not gonna like dribble and then come back like do a step back and shoot or anything like that.
Yeah.
But he's more so like like he makes you play the pick, right? And if you go under the pick, he shoot like it was like more of a mental game, like with how to guard him.
Yes. Traditional point guard.
Yeah, exactly.
So like here's some of his splits. I know you like these stats because they're so he's like he's mid-range. He did take a lot of threes, but he's getting to the rim. You know, it's exactly what you just said.
But he was definitely I remember I watched the whole series against them and everything, but they 100% ran their offense. Well, before the year before they ran it through him and Turkoglu, and then obviously Dwight with the pick and roll, stuff like that. Dwight didn't really get too many post positions where like Shaq would, obviously, because Dwight sucked at his post game was shit. But like I know that Jameer Nelson for sure was like the guy. Like I don't remember Vince being like, maybe it was just because it was that 1 year that he was there, but I don't remember him being their main like guy, like the like scoring threat.
My one issue for Jameer Nelson is that he's 6 feet tall, and there's nobody in this starting lineup that's shorter than 6'6" or 6'7".
Yeah,
nobody. That's bad for a guy like Jameer Nelson because it's been bad for any NBA player throughout history. Height is not good, and that's a huge game changer for this Magic team that helps them is having that length and being that big at every single position.
Yeah,
it makes a big difference.
But the thing with Jameer Nelson
them to switch more freely.
Floor. So like a big guy like obviously this Orlando Magic will look great defensively because they're all long, they're all like decent defenders.
I think Penny locks up Jameer Nelson, and I know we're going to disagree. But I think Penny locks him up. But that's because you don't see Penny as the defender that I see him as.
No, I'm not saying he's a bad defender because I think
he's a great defender. You don't think so? There's no getting around it.
I think
because if you did, you would feel like
the difference
is
how are you guarding Jameer Nelson? Jameer Nelson, if he has the ball, is you gotta. This is just. I'm not trying to like break down the whole fucking game, but for the most part,
that's what we're here for. What do you mean?
Yeah. I didn't. I'm not trying to make this whole imaginary scenario, but in reality, Jameer Nelson is obviously facilitating, but when Penny's going to be guarding him, there's going to be a lot of off ball. Jameer Nelson's going to be opening up the floor differently than what Penny had to deal with in 95. Like that, the defense he played in 95 is not the same exact defense he'd play in 2010.
Agree. Like, yes, as we talked about with the hand checking and shit like that. Yep. I agree.
Yeah, and it's also like you're going to have to worry about that 3-point line much more than you did beforehand. So I think that's where like that's where Jameer Nelson gets his buckets, and especially if they're like if you are saying a guy like Vince Carter's setting himself up, who's guarding Vince Carter? If it's not Penny.
But that's the thing is like because the Magic played in an era where like the point guard guarded the point guard like for the most part unless it was a special assignment. That's why I think, and if we're gonna change that and say they're gonna modernize a little bit, then they can switch on everything outside of center.
Yeah,
and that's switch on everything.
Yeah, and that's where I wanted to kind of go at. Like Vince Carter would be a guy that if you told me Penny Hardaway's defense is gonna play a factor, I'd say 100% on Vince because the way that Vince would play the game against Penny versus Jameer Nelson is just different. Like Jameer Nelson is not going to try to take him off the dribble. He's not going to try to do that as much. He's going to be more of the spot up shooter that you're talking about.
Well, that's that. So I'm confused because 5 minutes ago you said how he got all of his scoring was through pick and pop and making you suffer through that.
He did.
So you can't tell me in one breath that he does that and then.
But if Kobe's guarding him, he's not going to do like if someone 7 inches taller than him is guarding, he's not going to try to drive up.
But that's the whole that's the whole game. Unfortunately for Jameer Nelson, that's going to be every single time. There's no other option but a guy who's 6'7" or that height.
Yeah, but the way
matters.
But guys like him, because he's a versatile offensive player, right? He could have the ball, and when Dwight comes up for that pick and roll, and you're worried about Dwight's screen, that's where you could get the open shot, like stuff like that. is like how Jameer Nelson would play the game, and that's how
Yeah.
like he would have to play against Penny more a mental game than a physical game, obviously.
Yeah.
And so that's why I think Penny's defense is a little different than what like it's not like Vince Carter's gonna be going at him. So that's why I feel like
Sure.
Penny's defense, that makes sense that Penny would I think Penny would play great defense against Vince Carter and lock him up. But I just think guarding Jameer Nelson, to me, him guarding Jameer Nelson is a plus for the Orlando Magic on the other side, because now
I definitely don't agree.
But listen to what I'm saying. The reason I'm saying that is because I think you're taking away a solid defender from a guy that's not going to be an on-ball threat. Like they'd use Jameer Nelson as more of a spot-up shooter in that sense.
I think they'll lose if that happens. Personally, I think they'll definitely lose.
Well, I think they're going to lose no matter what.
Yeah, no, I know.
6 or 7. So it's like,
but no, yeah, I think it's closer to the 6-game scenario if that's the case. Because as we see, he's their leading scorer in the postseason. To your point, which is why you were surprised I didn't say that in the first place. But Lindsay, who do you got?
Definitely the Shaq Magic. I just the games I'm always iffy on, so I'm gonna agree with you guys that it's definitely gonna be like a tough battle. My sidebar comment is how every time Dwight gets brought up, I kind of feel sad for Dwight and how his career ended up being. Like, I feel like
he's a champion. He's a champion. He's fine.
No, I know, but I'm talking about like the respect factor that goes along. Like, I feel like people just after the Lakers thing and forward, that's all people focus on, and they forget about like Dwight before the Lakers, and a lot of people are just so rude about this man, and that's why I feel bad about him. Like, I just feel like he gets so disrespected.
He has the unfortunate distinction of being the best center in the worst era. It's just a very unfortunate distinction.
But I really think it's Kobe's fault that happened. I'm not even trying to be stupid. Like, I think Kobe completely saying like he wasn't up for whatever, like the challenge or whatever, and Kobe completely like disowning him after the fact, like and not fucking with him. I think.
Oh, you're saying from the Lakers? Yeah, you're right. You're right.
That's why.
I agree.
That's why I thought the start of the Lakers thing was just where it all got fucked for him.
Yep, 100%. Because then when he went to Houston, like,
yeah, exactly, Russell, exactly.
all right. So now that we're all good, can we go to the Celtics?
Yes.
This is gonna be lit. This is gonna be a fucking battle.
This is gonna hurt my heart.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
This fuck you. This at full disclosure is probably my favorite single team ever. Of all the teams I've ever of all the teams that made me like really fall in love, like as a kid, I have a affinity for the 2009-2010 Boston Celtics.
Yeah.
Okay, average in the regular season, but made a fucking run in the playoffs because a big four emerged. Because they had the old guys, but this man named Rajon Rondo started being this weird player. There's no other way to describe it. He's just weird. Just did weird shit, atypical of a superstar.
Yeah.
But he fit like a glove with all these hard-headed personalities. Definitely the most rugged team of the era. And their 5-man lineup, in my opinion, is the best starting 5 in the league as a complete unit.
Yeah.
I talked about Rondo. We have
in this 2010 league.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep, I agree with you.
Obviously, we talked about Kendrick Perkins, one of the best big man defenders in the league. To go with KG, at this point first ballot Hall of Famer. Paul Pierce, whose legacy elevated thanks to that Finals MVP, and is looked at in a very positive light come 2010.
Yeah,
and
Ray Allen until like 2020 when he just started like doing
post career he's a fucking idiot.
Yeah,
losing his mind.
Then
hanging out with strippers. Do what you got to do.
Yeah,
he's
telling people on social media, hey, whatever. That's not my place to say. It's fine. And then you have at this point, the greatest 3-point shooter of all time right now. Who I think has the record by 2010. I'm pretty sure he has the all-time record for threes. I remember that. It was off a Rondo assist. It was pretty sweet. But this...
And they hate each other. That's the funny part. Like so.
This is going to be a fucking battle.
Or they hate it.
Now they... Yeah, I think the beef is squashed now. I'm pretty sure they're... Everybody's good.
Yeah,
I know
I'm
KG
curious,
and Ray Allen are good.
So you said it's gonna make you cry. So I'm assuming you have the Magic. So what's your thoughts?
So it really I feel like they have a lot of guys to guard both of the people that need to do a lot of the scoring in Orlando, which is like this series is going 7. There's no way it's not, because I still think the two best players on the floor are Shaq and Penny. But I think this team was so fucking successful as a unit. The Boston Celtics were so successful as a complete unit that matters a lot. Their pace is obviously slow. We're talking the same kind of deal with Cleveland. Rough and rugged, slow it down, grit and grind style.
Yeah.
They're not shooting a lot of 3-pointers. The Magic will actually be shooting a little bit more and at a higher clip. They're going to score way more points than Boston. And they're going to be running up and down the floor. There's no way it doesn't go 7. This is one of the hardest decisions for me, if I'm being honest, that I've had on this program.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have an answer yet. I don't know. Yeah. I gotta hear some shit. Give me some shit.
Yeah.
Give me some shit. What do you got?
For one, I personally got Celtics in 6.
Wow. Okay.
I think for one, the experience alone is gonna be too much for the Magic.
That's a part of it too.
That's huge because that's exactly what lost them at NBA Finals that very same year, right?
Very true.
I think you have a legitimate closer in Paul Pierce that I think Penny's good, but Paul Pierce has some weight on him that like to put in perspective, who do you think, because I didn't understand because obviously we don't 100% agree with Penny's defense. Do you think Penny was a better defender than LeBron James?
No.
Okay, so Paul Pierce was putting 40 on LeBron. Like these are like
not every game, but yes.
But he did, and I don't see him not being able to do that on Penny Hardaway.
One game.
If he had to guard. Yeah, no, I'm sure, but I'm just saying that I don't think he's gonna consistently stop.
When we talk about putting 40 on someone on this show, we typically talk about for the whole series. So like, that's just not how this team works, unfortunately. Which is why I'm struggling.
I'm just saying that I don't think that Paul Pierce is not going to get what he wants. And again, he's shooting 43, almost 44%. So it's not like he's super efficient, anyways. And I think this team has what it takes to stop Shaq, because you have a rotation.
This is what I'm saying. Like
you have a rotation, like a cat.
I'm listening.
Like
I'm sorry.
You have Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah.
You got Perkins, and you got Garnett that can rotate on Shaq. And this is not 2000 Shaq. This is 1995 Shaq. He's a big boy, but he's not the same big boy that we're used to. So that a lot of the weight advantage that he typically has, like he still has that advantage, but it's not to that extent. And I think,
as you said, he's inexperienced too.
Yeah, exactly.
And all these guys got experience.
And I think this team is one of the greatest defensive teams in NBA history, in my opinion. Like
put Tony Allen on Penny is a problem. Yeah. That's a situation.
Kobe shot 40. I think he had 40% shooting in the NBA Finals this year. So that's why I'm like, they have the perfect combination for both Penny and Shaq.
Yeah, I agree.
So that's why I think it's a solid Celtics in 6, in my opinion.
Wow.
Because I think
this is why I needed to hear stuff, because like I basically agree with everything you're saying, but it's just tough because
you probably don't want to seem biased too. right?
That too, yeah. It's really yeah, because I was leaning Celtics in 7.
Yeah, I always had respect.
But it's just like, what if they just start shooting threes? Like they are going to shoot more threes. I feel like there's a chance that they do shoot a bunch of threes, and then it's like Rondo.
How good was the Celtics against the threes? Because you got to remember, they swept the Orlando Magic that just went 6 or 7 games with this team, and I think
they're one of the best teams against the 3-point in the league.
That's what I thought.
All right, fuck it, Lindy. Who you got?
I'm going with the Celtics.
And
I always suck at picking a game. Why can't I just say that they win the series?
No, because it matters. Because when I fucking write your shit on the screen, it's got to say how many fucking games you have. Okay? So I don't want to hear that.
Can I say an ambivalent 5 to 7 games?
No, fuck you. Yeah, I got Celtics anywhere from 4 to like 7. I don't know. Whatever.
It's just not
something
be
like that.
I just know it's not going to be a sweep, but I don't know how long it takes them to win, but they win.
All right, I'll help you with the games. Give me a stat line for Shaq. This is how I'll determine it.
26-11.
26-11? All right, you got Celtics in 6. For sure.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that.
If he does that, they're not getting to 7. No way. I guess. Fuck. You guys really talked me into that. I'm going to go Celtics in 7. So you guys look more biased than me. And
I don't care. I might be going 5 too. Like now that I'm thinking about it, like
oh man, I don't know if I can do that. I'm not willing to do that. I'm giving Shaq at least 2 games.
Like
see, and
that Houston team, bro. That Houston team is nowhere near as good as this Celtics team. Like that Houston team. That
but they have a guy named Akeem Olajuwon who was just on a mission. I don't know. It's just different.
Bro, they were the 6th seed. They were not the best. Like they were not.
Yeah, but we got to get it. This is why Akeem Olajuwon's on our list for legacy breakdowns to do soon, because that season's got to be broken down a little more because it's a little bit different. There's some injuries that go along with that.
Yeah, and that's the same thing with this team. They were the 4th seed because of injuries. Like it really, like, look at it. You got Kevin.
It's really because KG didn't play 70 games. He didn't play 70 games. Their record with KG.
What do you mean he didn't play? He missed 13 games in a.
That's what I'm saying. He played 69 games. He didn't play 70. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
They were 44-25 with KG in the lineup.
Yeah.
It's okay. I just think they're old. The oldness is concerning, but they obviously make it to the finals and they have experience.
So it's not like the oldest. They don't have injuries.
And I definitely agree with you that they got personnel across the board to stop what the Magic do well.
And in rotation, that's the part that makes, like, if someone was guarding Shaq by themselves, I'm not doing that. But they have a rotational cast for both Shaq and Penny, and I think that's a huge issue.
I agree with you. Yeah, I'm gonna go Celtics in 7 out of respect, but I get where you guys are coming from. Yeah, for sure.
And Penny's lucky if he's averaging 15. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you had to. Yeah, we were about to move on. You had to. I still think he could get 18 points a game. It just depends on what the situation is. But I do think he gets 30% to at least 18
shooting.
Maybe, probably like 40% shooting. But let's do the
but they lost.
The big one. Why we're here.
We'll act like they didn't.
Yeah, we're gonna act like they did.
So the 3-point Hail Mary was successful. Let's go.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. They won in 7 magically. Or everyone on the Celtics died. Something like that.
Yeah. One of them.
They're old. They're close. Anyways, we are looking at the 2010 LA Lakers, the bullshit winners of this NBA championship. As Dario so beautifully said earlier, Celtics are one of the best teams. I agree. Yeah. Way better than this Laker team.
No,
I agree.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, you're right. I said the Celtics you're right.
The greatest
you're 100% right.
100%.
Yeah, one of the greatest teams. I would not say that about this Laker team, but it's okay. They have one of the greatest players and one of his all-time peaks for this match with physical abilities.
Yeah.
Mental and physical, IQ, and what he could actually do on the court were in sync and unison.
Yes.
And I think
Yes.
that's what my favorite part about this Kobe is. Even though he did have the busted finger, he does have his little, things that are bothering
Year before
him.
Kobe was better, but that's why.
But you get where I'm coming from.
Yeah, 100%.
Still at the peak of his powers, in my opinion.
29, 6 and 6. You know what we doing out here?
Shooting 46%. Very classic Kobe Bryant stuff. Now you got Pau Gasol taking a step up in the postseason, which I think is why they won this championship.
Tell Shaq what's up, nigga.
20 and 11.
What up? What up, Hope?
And 54% shooting in the playoffs. Ron Artest, a.k.a. Meta World Peace.
I was about to say, yeah.
The man who hit the dagger on the Celtics in Game 7. Did this whole thing.
Yeah.
And then we have Derek Fisher. We know about Derek Fisher because we've seen him in all the other hypotheticals we've done so far.
Yeah.
And Lamar Odom, who I think won Sixth Man of the Year this year, right?
It might have been last year, but
might have been last year.
He's
definitely got to be in the conversation. Let's see. Jamal Crawford gets it this year, but
I think
he's in the conversation.
Yeah, it was last year.
11, almost a double-double in the regular season, and in the playoffs, he's putting up still same thing. 10 and 9, 2 assists, almost a steal, almost a block, shooting 47%.
I felt like I swear with the way he played, I could have sworn he averaged 5 assists a game. Like the way, remember, because he was like our point.
I agree.
Like, he was like our, I'm surprised there was only 2, but
maybe it's at a different point in his career. Yeah, I mean, he was averaging 5 assists per game a couple of times in the early era with the Lakers. Yeah, it's interesting how his assists kind of took a dive for some reason. And you're right. I thought his assists were higher too. I'm not telling you, you're imagining things.
Yeah.
But it must be we're thinking of a younger guy. But
it's so funny, bro. This is what I'm talking about. When you look at this team, this shit looks so trash. Like,
yeah, I agree. I agree.
Kobe. This is why Kobe, Hakeem, and Dirk are the ones to me to bring trash and win with them. Like, in my opinion. But that's my opinion.
I don't even know if Dirk can be on that list. Dirk just wilded out in that playoffs. But I think the talent around him did not suck.
But the talent level he was going against was significantly better than him.
Yeah,
and that's where I think, because like even with these Lakers, right? Like I feel like that Boston team is so much better. Like if you go from top to bottom, like obviously you have the Kobe. You probably have Kobe, then maybe I don't know who you want to put between Paul Pierce, Garnett, and you might go those two, and then Powell, and then after that it's all Celtics. Like
yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I'm not disagreeing. There's also a young man named Andrew Bynum who is coming up. Like, he's like 2 or 3 years from like, I hate basketball, I never want to play basketball again. But before that point, he was, and this is why this is the worst era for big men. He was the second best center in the league.
Yeah, and people argued that he was better than Dwight Howard.
Only some people thought that.
Yeah.
But that's how bad the era was for centers. That's why I think Shaq's going to destroy. Like
his post game was actually much better than Dwight's. Like
yes, and that's what led people to believe that he was better than Dwight instead of looking at the rest of the game. But what do you call it? I have the 95 Magic in 6 for this one. I don't think there's much debate. I think Kobe can get. I think Kobe gets 30. I think Kobe gets 30 a game. But I think 30. Horace Grant is a great defender against Pau Gasol. I think that's a really good defensive matchup when you compare those two. I don't think they have anybody on this team that can guard Shaq at all. Andrew Bynum can suck my dick.
They have a rotating cast. Just I think similar to the Celtics. You could. How can't you rotate Bynum and Pau?
That's not the same as the Celtics. You named me like 4 guys on the Celtics.
And Powell.
And who?
No, you're right. But
Yeah, get the fuck
you
out
can
of
at
here.
least
The bullshit.
you still have a twin. So this is the thing with the Lakers. They did have Bynum and Pau Gasol playing at the same time throughout most of the game. So I just
Yeah.
think the spacing alone is going to be tough for Shaq. You got 2 7-footers that you got to deal with in around the paint. That's what I think is the harder part. The Celtics don't. They kind of have that, but they also can rotate way more.
Yeah, they have way. I was way more likely to agree with you with that. Here's the other thing.
Yeah.
It's not like the 95 Magic don't know what it's like to play with bad spacing. That was called the entire 90s. Like
Yeah. No, I
bad
agree.
spacing was prevalent in the whole 90s. I don't think that matters as much to a team like this that's already been playing like that. Like I
Wow.
just don't think that
Alright.
makes a big difference. I don't think Pau Gasol can touch Shaq on the defensive end. I
Of course
don't
not,
think
but I
there's
think
nothing.
Shaq
I
has
don't think he can even stay in front of him. I don't think there's.
but I think Shaq
sorry,
has a huge issue when trying to guard Pau Gasol.
but I don't think he's guarding Pau Gasol. I think Horace Grant's going to guard Pau Gasol, and I do think Pau Gasol will be okay. But I think Horace Grant's a really good big man defender to guard a pure power forward like Pau. I
don't
definitely think that.
Like, can we go to the NBA Finals?
Which one?
I'm pretty
Which
sure
NBA?
average.
2010.
Yep. I just want to make sure that I'm right before I say what I'm going to say. All right, Powell was averaging 19 and 12. See, Powell averaged 19 and 12 on 48% shooting against a really good Celtics defense. I don't think that Magic defense is that Celtics defense. That was like a
Sure.
shit. Like that whole series was a defensive nightmare, and him averaging 48% shooting still isn't that bad to me.
But I also don't think he's going to need to do this because I have Kobe putting up more points. Like I just don't think he's going to be as aggressive because he doesn't have to be, and especially if he's got those defenders in his face. We know Pau is not hard.
All right, so let
soft.
I mean, all right. So this is my thought process. Kobe gets to finally face Shaq. Sure, not the same Shaq that he'd like to face, right? Like not the peak, whatever.
He'll find something to compete with him about.
Yep.
Oh, you think you're young? You think you're young, little bitch? I'll still take you on.
No. I think he still looks at it like I'm gonna beat you for what you did to me later on in your life, all right? So that's what I think he gonna.
You don't know about this yet, but you were an asshole. You were a fucking asshole. Fuck you.
So I got Lakers in 6, right?
Okay.
And this is my reason, and sure, this is you could y'all could just put the bias in the whatever because
this is what I didn't want to do with the Celtics, but go ahead.
So, yeah, but I don't give a fuck. Because one thing that I do know is Kobe going to treat those Magic the same way he did to the Magic the year before. He's putting up 40 pieces. He's doing all of that shit to these motherfuckers. And I think that I know for a fact that this Laker team is good, is a really good defense against the 3-ball, obviously, because they did really well against this Magic team. Again, and that was like the deciding factor. They couldn't shoot the 3 the same way in that finals that they had done the entire playoffs, and it was because of the way the Lakers played defense against them. Sure. So their 3-point shooting being kind of taken away. Shaq's still gonna be Shaq, but Kobe's still gonna be Kobe. Now it comes down to, can Penny be Penny? You got Meta World Peace.
100%.
What? Ron Artest was a lockdown defender. That's a fact.
Yeah, but he's not gonna guard the point guard. Penny's the point guard.
6'7".
I know, but he's not going to guard.
Ron
Artest. No, he's not. Was Ron Artest guarding James Harden?
Yes. No. Well, I mean,
no, he wasn't.
He was guarding Durant at the time, but that was because.
Thank you. He's going to guard the guys who are outside shooting threes. He's not going to be assigned to the point guard.
Their best offensive player. He always did.
I don't think there's any guarantee you can say he's going to guard the point guard. I don't think that's...
I watched every single Laker game during this time. 100%. Ron Artest guarded the best offensive player. Always did it. Every single time. Obviously, he's not going to guard Shaq.
I remember him guarding point guards. I do not remember Ron Artest guarding point guards.
Okay, but who was...
I'm sorry.
All right. How many times was a point guard the best offensive player in this league? Can you name me one?
I guess, but he's also too big to guard a guy like that.
That's not the case.
He's going to be guarding the other guys who are going to be shooting threes. Like, that's what Ron Artest's job is going to be. His job is going to be take away those guys on the outside, be switched onto those guys, and they're going to leave Penny in trouble.
Defender.
How
like, you're literally...
I don't think he's doing it against the point guard.
What are you talking? It's not about the point guard. It's about the size and make like they never did. They never said, "Oh, he's a point guard, so Ron Artest isn't going to guard him." Like I mean, sure.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if there's any proof. I don't know if there's any proof to what you're saying right now.
Yeah, because there's not situations like that. But you can. He's guarded different shooting guards, small forwards. He rotated between those two for sure.
To your point,
should have guarded the shooting guard, but he guarded the shooting guard. He did that many times.
I saw LeBron James guard Derrick Rose with my own eyes. I've never seen Meta World Peace guard anybody who's run the point. I just don't. I haven't seen it. I'm sure I'll get destroyed in the comments if I'm wrong, but
that's fine.
I haven't seen it, and I think there are guys who are Penny's size on the Magic, a bunch of guys Penny's size that Artest is going to have to deal with. And even if you're saying, okay, it's definitely true, because if they start shooting threes like crazy, they're going to send Ron Artest to the guys who are shooting threes.
I literally watched all those Laker games consistently, game after game after game. We always had Ron Artest guard the best offensive player every single time. If it was a wing player,
it was definitely a wing guy. I agree, 100%. Penny is not a wing guy. I don't know
he
how
plays like one. That doesn't
matter.
That's the thought.
That doesn't matter.
What the fuck do you think? Do you think in 2010 they're saying, "Oh, because he's the point guard, we're gonna say no because Ron Artest just can't guard a point guard"? No, that's not what's happening.
Yes, I am saying that. I'm 100% saying that.
But that's not accurate.
That's the era we're in. This is the last year where that is an irrelevant statement, and then it changes going into the 2010s, and especially so in this era. In this era, I think Ron Artest is more likely to guard 4s to 1s, but he's not doing that in this era. I don't agree with that.
Did Ron Artest guard Wade?
I don't think so.
I'll tell you. Yes, he did fucking guard Wade. I've watched him guard Wade. I'm telling you that I watched him guard Wade 100%. All right, we could. All right, that's maybe not Wade. Let's think of somebody else.
Even then, Wade's a 2 guard.
But he played like a point guard. We talked about it throughout Shaq's legacy breakdown. Wade was playing like a point guard and he was a hybrid guard. Yes or yes?
But there's not guys on the floor that are also Ron Artest size that he's going to have to deal with. Like,
it doesn't matter
with Wade.
Phil Jackson's
Phil
Jackson's not gonna say, "Yeah, guard this guy who's a shitty fucking offensive player, and let's let fucking someone else guard Derek Fisher guard fucking whatever Penny." He's not gonna do that. He's not gonna. Phil Jackson would not do that.
I don't think Ron Artest is going to be the matchup because there's too much size on the floor. I think if there was less on the floor and you have the 1-6-7 guy, I think that's more likely than that's going to be the case. But I think as a 6-7, that's what made this team so different, is because they had this size all over the floor, which is still not common even in 2010. It's not common to have that size all over the floor. In today's game, if you had every position at 6'7", that would matter, or higher. Like, I just think there's a lot of guys that Ron Artest is going to have to be put in front of. Do I think he'll guard Penny sometimes? Yeah, but I don't think he's going to be the primary guy guarding Penny. And that's why I think the Magic are going to win. That's clearly why we have a difference in what our series is going to be. Because I have Penny putting up 20 points a game in this series. Unless, honestly, I could see Kobe guarding Penny before I could see Ron Artest guarding Penny. That's 100%.
That's not. That's not. Okay, whatever. Yeah, I think you're making.
That's true. That could be the case.
True to actually what happened in the games.
You don't think Kobe? You don't think Kobe would want to guard Penny Hardaway? You don't think?
I think he would want to guard Penny Hardaway, but I know for a fact that the Lakers, what they were doing was anytime it was a matchup like that. In core moments, they'd have Kobe do it, but throughout the game, they always had Ron Artest on the guy. Literally, whether it was Bron, Wade, Durant, Melo, anybody, and you can't say that Kobe wouldn't guard those guys, because prior to Ron Artest being in the Lakers, he was guarding Melo in Western Conference Finals. He was guarding LeBron throughout those regular season games. He guarded Durant in times. Like, I've seen it happen. When we had Ron Artest, they brought Ron Artest to be their main defender.
So you think Ron Artest is more likely to guard a point guard than Kobe, in your opinion?
No, I think Ron Artest is more likely to guard that guy more than Kobe.
I don't think so. I don't
That's
think
fine.
so. Especially considering
you're just
how
saying he's a
hard of a
point guard and thinking that
competitor.
everybody's gonna be retarded and say, oh yeah,
That's what
he's a
this
point
era
guard,
was,
so.
man.
No,
That's what
that's
this
not
era
true.
was all about.
That is not
Literally,
true.
the reason why I bring this year all the time is because it's the last season where traditional point guard, two guard, small forward, power forward, center are in the finals. And it's really the last time that happens. After this point, it's way more positionless. But we are in position basketball right now. We are. I don't care what
but
you
that
say.
doesn't mean. But so the mere fact that because the very year after that it happens, do you think they go from retard to rocket scientist in a year?
No, it absolutely happens gradually. It happens gradually. You're correct.
Okay.
It happens absolutely gradually. If you told me even next year Ron Artest is going to magically guard the point guard, I'd probably disagree there too. But I definitely disagree that they're just going to forget about positions because they don't do that in this period of time.
So what was
they
Lamar
don't do
Odom?
that.
Okay, so what was
Small
Lamar
forward.
Odom? Yeah,
Small forward.
Yeah, they used to call him a point forward, right? Because he literally that's literally positionless basketball. He used to run the point position for the Lakers.
And that's what made him unique because those guys didn't exist.
Okay, but that because the Lakers would do that, what made that? I know, bro. I'm not even.
Obviously, they were used to doing that because they had.
I know for a fact that Ron Artest was guarding the best offensive player every single game, 100%.
Okay,
I watched.
Let us know in the comments if you think Ron Artest guards point guards. Let us know because I don't think he does. If I'm wrong, please give me specific scenarios because I'll look it up. But I don't see him doing that. I see Kobe more likely to do the defense there. And I think that, that's obviously going to be and I think if we're talking about Kobe being mad at Shaq, Kobe's definitely looking at Penny going, you think you're the number two?
I'm not saying
I was
Kobe
the fucking
can't guard.
god.
I'm not saying Kobe can't guard Penny, but I think
I think Kobe's more likely to guard Penny. I think that matters.
I based off of what I would see in every single series with this, I would always want that, and it never would happen because they literally looked at it as Kobe's going to do the offense, and we're going to make other dudes play the defense.
When have they gone against a team with height across the board like that?
Yeah,
they haven't. They haven't gone against a team where there's 6-7 guys at every position. I think that matters. I really do. I really think that makes a difference.
Would you not say that the Celtics weren't that?
No. Rondo was
besides Rondo, literally everybody.
There's no besides. There's no besides on the Magic.
That's fine, bro. That's not that big of a deal. Some of these guys are spot up shooters. Like they're not fucking taking it to the rack.
And I think Ron's job. Yeah.
Rondo's the point guard, so it doesn't matter that he's not 6'7" because Artest wouldn't be guarding him anyways.
I agree, but I think that Ron Artest, even in the Celtics series, was guarding guys like Paul Pierce, definitely guarding him off the ball. Yeah, sure, he gets the ball and brings it up court sometimes, but Ron Artest is going to be sticking those guys and making sure that they don't get off from three. I definitely see that as being a thing that would happen.
I get your
considering the size.
I get your point that we're not at the part of positionless basketball, but I don't get how you don't see that a winning coach would think, oh, this guy's killing us offensively.
Yeah.
I need to switch my best player, my best defensive option onto him because the sizing matchup and everything works, and then we're going to shift other people to defend the other ones. I don't get how you don't think in a multi-game series that Phil Jackson doesn't make that switch at some point if Penny's killing them.
Especially since he's literally done it, especially this year in general. He did it every single I can literally name you each player that he guarded.
Okay, so I'll take Lindsay's point. This is a good point. So in the 96 finals, that exact situation happened where they kept Gary Payton off of Jordan, right? And then they inevitably did it. It was a worse off situation, but the Bulls still won in 6 games. Or 6 games. I still think regardless of this, I have the 95 Magic at 6. Because besides all this, Shaq is fucking them up. I really think Shaq's gonna do some serious damage. Unless some creeping inexperience comes in.
100%.
Yeah, but you don't think they cancel each other out?
No.
You're bugging.
I think Kobe will
You're
put
bugging.
35 on this mad.
Nah, now you're just doing this because you're mad.
No,
Fucking.
this is a fact.
I don't think so.
Can we
I
Bro,
don't think
literally
so.
the year before against the same Orlando team that we just had them.
It's not the same Orlando team.
No, yeah, a better Orlando team. The year before was 100%.
No, it's not a better Orlando team either.
They went to the NBA Finals. They literally. What are we talking about? Come on. They literally.
It's not a better Magic team. We literally just had the '95 Magic
Hito
winning a
Turkoglu was
series.
better. Hito Turkoglu better than Vince Carter?
Right, but that doesn't make them better than the '95 Magic.
No,
I don't agree.
I'm saying a better. When I say a better Orlando team, we just had them go. We just had this Orlando team going 7-game series with the 2010 Orlando team. This Laker team just beat shit down the 09 Magic team that was better than the 2010 Magic team. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but they don't.
Right?
They didn't have a primary scorer the way that the '95 team does. Like Shaq is a difference maker, and they don't have anybody to stop Shaq. They just don't.
They have bodies to throw at him, though. Way more bodies than they're gonna have.
They don't.
To
Not in the same way Boston does.
They're not gonna guard Kobe the way that they can guard Shaq. We have legit 2 7-footers that are 250 pounds. Like not a lot.
We have guys, and this team has guys that are 6'6", 205, all over the board to throw at Kobe.
Fucking guard him. We know this.
Same thing with Shaq.
We've seen what Jordan's done to this team. So like, it's
agreed.
Just imagine
we've seen,
same
and
thing.
And nobody's seen a good center against any of these teams because there's no good centers in this fucking league. So Shaq is going to dominate them. Like you can't tell me that it's just it.
What do you have Shaq averaging?
At least 30. He's getting at least 30.
Okay. I think. Do you think that these centers are better than the centers from 2000 to 2003 that Shaq faced?
But this is a different Shaq. This is the conversation we started the show with.
Do you think that they're doing that? That they're better defensively than the centers that Shaq faced from 2000 to 2003?
I think the centers that we are actually talking about in 1995 are better than the ones in this period we're talking about right now. We already talked about that, going full circle. Yep. What happened when Shaq was 400 pounds is not relevant. It's a different player. I don't think that's relevant at all. This is a completely different guy.
No, what I'm trying to do is like establish some type of level that you're putting Shaq at, right?
But you can't do that. It's two completely different things. It's two completely different Shaqs we're talking about.
No, but we know
eras and everything.
Yeah, we already know which Shaq is better. And we already know what Shaq averaged versus these guys of this team. So what I'm saying is, if you have a lesser, not as good as Shaq, but against a better defense, how are you then going to say, oh, he's averaging 30?
I guess I'm not.
Only average 30.
Tell me what. Go ahead. Tell me what his not as good stat line is again.
I'm going like 28 and 12.
That's fucking fantastic. You're killing me. Like.
What? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you're saying 30,
and it's
and
30.
I said Kobe,
it's 2 points.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a bucket. We're arguing over a bucket.
No, see, this is where
you points in an average.
We always lose each other
because that's 14 points.
Yeah, and it initially the initial thing that even made us say this was I said Kobe's gonna dominate this series more than Shaq will. Kobe's gonna average over 30 on fucking any of these motherfuckers. That Kobe right there, fucking motivated going against Shaq. No fucking way he not putting up 35. He literally just averaged 32 against a Magic team he ain't give a fuck about. Now he's gonna go against a team that he wants to destroy. Hell no, he's not averaging more than that. I
just don't know how we can say that Shaq's gonna have bodies to be thrown at him, but in the same breath, we're not gonna say that there are bodies on the Magic team to throw at Kobe. Like I just don't. Yeah, I don't know what some of the defensive. I don't know personally what some of the defensive prowess is of some of these guys, but I can say that nobody on the Lakers from the big man position is a Tony Allen or a lockup guy or even a Kendrick Perkins, who's a great defensive center. It's completely different. Andrew Bynum is getting destroyed. Pau Gasol is not guarding Shaq.
Gasol is averaging 2 blocks a game. Like that.
Andrew Bynum
actually happened.
1.3 blocks a game. Has he ever? Is
this the regular season or the postseason? Because that's completely different.
I'll do both. He's averaged 2 twice in the playoffs, once Over
All
the
right,
course
so
of 12
in the
games and
actual
11, 12.
postseason that we're talking about, he averaged 2 blocks a game.
1.6.
2 blocks a game. That's literally 2
Okay.
blocks a game, Russell. That's
It's
rounding.
1.5.
I'm sorry that
It's 1.5.
you still haven't
It's
learned
closer
that
to
yet.
1.5 than it is to 2.
It
we're
sure,
really
but
gonna
when
be
you're rounding,
specific.
there's not 1.5. It's 1 or 2, and it's
Rounding helps your argument. It doesn't help mine. So we're going 1.5 because
No,
it's
what
closer.
happened? What it actually does is say that he averaged 2 blocks a game more than he averaged 1 block a game. Is what it's really what that's telling you. So
I mean,
the mere fact that you got 2 7-footers that can be in front of Shaq and play a role in that, because they did it with Dwight. Sure, you could say he's shitty. They did it with Garnett. They did it throughout postseason. Sure, the big men aren't as great as Shaq, but I think they can do enough to lower that, right? Kobe averaged 29 on 40% shooting against the Celtics. So for me to say that he's going to average 35 on 45% shooting on the Magics isn't a crazy thing. And that still wins him the MVP, finals MVP. You know what we're doing. He literally going to repeat what he did the year before.
I just don't. I guess I don't know, man. I think
that completely matters.
I think the '95 Magic is a better team than this Laker team, up and down.
A lot of teams were literally the Boston Celtics were a better team than this Laker team. You could argue,
and if they had Kendrick Perkins, they would have won the championship. I agree.
You could feel that way, but that didn't happen.
I could know that. Shoulda, woulda,
coulda, but shoulda, woulda, coulda, but didn't. And we've won the series because
look, without Kendrick Perkins, the Magic have a chance to sweep the Celtics without Kendrick Perkins. So I don't want to even go through this. The Celtics got screwed in that finals. Everybody knows it.
Okay.
The Celtics got screwed in the finals. Everybody knows it.
What are we talking about? I'm not doing this.
Kobe's 25% shooting ass has no chance. Fuck that.
I'm not doing this.
He has no chance to get 18 rebounds if Kendrick Perkins is there. Want to hear that shit? Lindsay, who do you got?
I really don't want to answer because I don't want to start this argument again.
No, you have no choice. This is part of the show. Let's go, Lollipop Guild. Lindsay's eating a lollipop for those who can't see her.
It's a really good strawberry lollipop.
Who you got? Don't get distracted. Who you got?
I got distracted by y'all's back and forth. Like, I don't...
Welcome to Apex Greatness. Now answer the question.
It's so difficult.
To help you add to this, Lindsay, let me just help you out real quick.
No.
With these statistics,
she must
and all this
answer the question.
The one thing that I hate the most about these stats is it's almost like the context gets extremely lost with
I agree, and that's how I feel about the '95 Magic. I completely agree.
And what Kobe was doing in this year alone, in terms of how
I'm gonna say 7 games.
Yeah.
For who?
I don't know.
Not a good answer. You need to answer.
Yeah. But the way Kobe literally dominated games, there was times that he was just had his fucking thumb. It's pretty much once LeBron got to his greatness and he started being able to pace game, literally Kobe was dominating games. At the end of games, you just knew it was over because Kobe was just fucking shitting on people. And that's not showed in any of these stats. You look at 40% shooting and you can't see that. But in reality, when you fucking watch the game, you look at it and you're like, I don't even think he shot 40% because it didn't feel that way. That's literally how that's where I don't like that.
To take what you're saying to use it for what I'm talking about. We say that this isn't close to the best Shaq. This Shaq was good enough to be one of the 50 greatest players in the history of the league.
Yeah, 100%.
Stats are part of that argument, but it's also because he completely ass raped the whole league in terms of domination, even at this young age. Otherwise, they would not have put him on that list. There's no way. And I
did it more so for potential though than anything. They literally
Reggie Miller has said they guessed, but they guessed right. Yeah, but it's also they had to have something to go off of.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with the Magic.
Oh, all right. Talk to me. Explain.
I just feel like they have more personnel almost. Just a little bit of an edge in terms of the team versus team aspect.
Gotta be more. Okay.
No,
I get what you're saying.
I feel that, but the only thing with that is
Uh-huh.
this is the same team
Yeah.
that lost the NBA Finals for the immaturity.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
mainly due to their leader, right? They went to an NBA Finals and partied and did all this other shit. If we put in a battery in this, sure, if we put in a fucking remote in this Magic team's back, they should win. A lot of teams should win based off talent, but there's reasons they don't. And I feel like this Laker team 100% has the pedigree, has the fucking this is their third straight NBA Finals that they've been to. And you literally have Kobe on a complete mission. And like I've done in my entire life, never betting against them. 100% always gonna go with Kobe.
I like your argument, but I will definitely say that I like it way more for the Boston Celtics than I do for this team. But the argument stands true. But I was sold way more with Boston than I am.
I just don't
and
know
it is
how
not,
you can.
It is
say
not
that.
because you like Kobe. It is not. I thought about it. I sat here. I listened to everything. I just
But
don't. I don't see it with
how
this
could
team.
you agree with that argument more for the Celtics than the Lakers when
they just have more bodies? It's a deeper team.
I feel that, but the Lakers have literally for the last 3 years pretty much dominated the league. And
yeah, but so has Boston.
No, they haven't. That's not true. They went.
Come on.
They went to an NBA Finals and then
they went to two NBA Finals, including this one.
NBA
Keep going.
Yeah.
Out of three. Would have made the third one if not for KG getting hurt. Get the fuck out of here.
You could feel that. You could feel
everybody
like that.
and their mother. I could feel like that, and so could every basketball fan in the era. No, because he's doing this on purpose.
Always tells me injuries are a part of the game. We can't do anything about it. But now with his team, I love it. Now with his team, he's like,
we're not even talking about Shaq anymore.
No, because he's doing this just to get a rise out of me. This is bullshit.
Okay,
the Lakers.
So Dario has the Lakers winning.
The big three Celtics didn't dominate. He's bugging.
Dario has the Lakers
like the Lakers
winning.
did.
Dario has the Lakers winning because he believes that even though the team might not match up, that Kobe's just gonna give the dick and whatnot, and this, that, and the third, and that Shaq, even though Shaq's gonna do okay, it's not gonna be equal to what Kobe's gonna put out. Russell,
logic flawless.
Russell has the magic.
But that's not my real lot. That's what.
Stop. Can we just?
Keep going. Go, Lindsay. Keep going. I love it.
Notes here right now. Okay. Russell has the Magic winning because he believes that their size is going to be an issue for the Lakers in terms of defense, and he thinks that Penny and Shaq are still going to put out what they should be able to put out to win the series. Am I wrong?
I think Penny Hardaway is going to be able to pass the ball a lot. I just think the more open rules, this is what I said in the earlier series, but I do think the more open rules let Penny pass the ball more. I think that helps him be a little, but it's so much harder to lock guys up in this era. It just is after post hand checking. It's so much harder to really you got to be.
That's not true.
Okay. Anyways,
it is. It's true.
Anyways,
go ahead, Dario. No, Dario. No, finish clarifying what Lindsay got wrong. Go ahead.
Yeah,
because I got my chance.
Yeah, because I'm so I can't even remember exactly what it was, but another thing to add though. Phil Jackson. Does Phil Jackson versus whoever the fuck that Magic coach is not matter?
I can't believe we waited 40 minutes to bring up Phil Jackson.
I just needed to add that to end it because I think along with I just feel like people if you're gonna go player by player in most series you could do that and you're gonna be wrong. Like you can go player by player and think this team has the most stacked team, but who's gonna work together well? What's the matchups gonna look like? Sure, you could feel like Shaq is gonna do decent. I think he's limited with two. I not limited, but I think he's just gonna get his standard 28 and 12 against these 2 7-foot monsters. And I don't think Penny's gonna do what a lot of people feel like.
7-foot for you to call those Lakers the Twin Towers is just hysterical. It's so funny.
Okay.
It's such a stretch. It's the biggest stretch.
Pau Gasol did what he had to do. Stop playing.
Pure
a lot of people
forward.
Front on Pau.
Okay, so I'm tie breaking, and I'm picking the Magic in 7.
Yep. And I think a majority of people would agree that Magic would win the series.
Yeah. But people
I
in the
think they'd be
comments
wrong,
can let
but-
us know if they think Phil Jackson is an intangible in the series.
Facts. Let us know. Let us know in the comments.
Before we leave, though, could you just answer me one question? Do you feel like
It's gonna be some question I can only answer one way. Go ahead. Keep going.
No. Do you feel like the 1995 Houston Rockets are better than the 2010 Los Angeles Lakers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Fight me about it.
All right.
Akeem Olajuwon, same reason, same thing. Akeem Olajuwon definitely gets 35 on these bitches.
I
No
agree.
way.
I
No
agree.
way.
I agree.
100%. So I know you weren't expecting that, but it's the truth.
I
But
agree that
I am
I agree
biased
that
when it
Hakeem
comes
does
to
that.
Akeem Olajuwon.
I just don't think that the rest are gonna. We locked like literally.
Mad Max on Kobe.
Get the fuck.
Mad Max.
You crazy.
Mad Max
He's gonna average
fire.
like 80.
And he'll fight him in the fucking parking lot.
That's cool, but you're gonna have he gonna also see an 80 piece on the other side. Like
80 piece. Mad Max is a good defender.
man, I don't give a fuck who Mad Max. They thought Patrick Patterson. They thought all these motherfuckers were good defenders until Kobe asked who they were.
Yeah, he'd probably get 30, but not 80.
Nah, you're getting 40 for sure. Yo, Kobe was putting
Dropped
40
it a whole
regularly.
half. Cut it in half.
Well, of course, come on, 80 is too much, but 40, 100% he put a 40 on these motherfuckers, man. Stop playing. Whatever. All right, yo,
All
my
right.
Kobe fan, yo, please, Kobe Kingdom.
The audience doesn't know, but we've been here 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Kobe Kingdom. Thrash our comment section, please. I need.
Why isn't that a thing? That should be a thing. Kobe
Yeah,
Kingdom.
that's what's happening.
Why don't we do that?
Y'all message me.
Make that a thing. You know what? Forget what we've said the last fucking hours. Make Kobe Kingdom a thing, America.
Yeah, man.
Make
Kobe
that a thing.
Kingdom.
I like that.
Drop that like,
Sounds good.
and comment and shit on Russell and Lindsay for going against.
I'm with it.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, man. That's how we feel on
That's
this
how we
Kobe
feel.
side, man. We don't fuck with y'all niggas no more, man.
I'm gonna fight you.
Hey guys, if you like what you heard, be sure to check out our YouTube channel. Just type in Apex Greatness on YouTube to see everything we put out this year. From legacy breakdowns to current NBA and NFL content. We have over 150 videos to binge if you're that type of person, or just to listen to in your spare time. We have about 2 to 5 hours of new content every week. Check us out. Later.